Okay, we are live,
Okay.
and I need to do this thing where I I got some subscribers the past couple of days.
Wow.
That's nice.
Nice.
Um, Weird. I had like a couple of days in a row where I didn't gain subscribers. But, I need to go into my YouTube settings and do all of the stuff that OBS doesn't do for me.
What does it not do?
Like I think I accidentally clicked something wrong, but it doesn't pull up chat. It doesn't turn on monetization, whatnot. So I need to go
Oh,
into YouTube and do that myself. Sometimes I forget. Yeah, main thing right now is to just pull up chat so I can read what people are saying.
maybe I should do that too.
Hey, okay, there are some people here.
Oh,
How are you guys doing? Yeah, you can pull up chat, you can respond to whoever, and
hey, chat.
yeah, and so right now we have our friend Canned Soup
What's
on
up?
stream with us today. A Australian lad who was just at a regional today, and he'll tell us about that later.
Will I? Alright, that's fine.
Yeah,
Let me. I'll set a camera on. Give me a sec.
okay, yeah. Let me know, guys, if sound's a bit weird or whatnot. Anything that will help. And okay, I hear sounds in the background. Where are they coming from? Okay. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Um, just on time, as always. Right before I started. I always want to start these earlier, and then I end up spending time on making thumbnails and whatnot. So I never get time earlier on to just kind of chill. But hopefully, things are going well for you guys. I think everything should be ready for me. I guess until we start, we'll just be chilling, talking. If you guys have any questions or you know any life questions, like Cheesy Cat, favorite type of cereal. We don't have much cereal in Japan, um, so I don't really know like brands of cereal. When I had stuff when I was in America, what did I like? I mean, I know my brother really likes Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm not a huge. It depends. Sometimes you're in a Honey Nut Cheerios mood, but I don't know cereal enough to actually answer that properly. I feel it's been so many years.
I would never eat cereal, to be honest.
I
I had
know that like.
hmm,
Hold on, let me see, because I know there's something that I did eat for a little while. But I do think it was just like sugar in a bowl. I don't remember what it was called.
it's what a lot of American ones are.
Ooh, maybe Lucky Charms. I don't know. But again, this is like when I was a child, so I don't know. Common breakfast in Japan: bread, rice ball, maybe. I tend to eat lots of like rice-based things rather than bread, but bread's very common. Okay, let me know if stream volume's weird.
I got my cam on Discord, by the way. I don't know if it can
Oh,
like
okay. Let me figure that
show
out.
it, but
Season 2. Ooh, handsome man.
I don't know what stream to have up. The official one I go on.
Yeah, I would imagine that the I can also screen share my thing if you want to do that, but whichever one's fine. Trying to figure out how to pull you up onto my stream now.
Uh, did it with Sam, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, that's weird. Interesting. It's specifically set to Discord with Sam, which is why you weren't showing up. Okay. Oh shoot.
Specifically.
1 second.
Yeah, it's all good.
Part of you's on screen.
What? How'd that even happen? That's mad.
Okay.
Wait. There we go.
Hey. Say
A
something.
bit of
I
a
look
delay, but
very yellow today.
I look very white today.
Yeah. Okay. How's everyone doing? Um, I did want to talk about this a little bit more before we got into it, but unfortunately we did start stream as soon as we got into it. But it is OP14, and so that means it is going to be a bit more interesting than OP13, because OP13 you just assume it's going to be Ace, Ema, maybe a little bit of Zodal. But yeah. Another thing of note is that this championship is 2 weeks after the first one, and that first one was after 1 week of OP14. So there has been a lot more testing since then, so the decks are going to be a lot more refined. Any predictions for what's going to win today?
I'm gonna guess. Oh, I would like to see Emu in Top Cut. I think it should be there.
Yeah.
Whether it will be or not, I don't know. But I think it should be there, and I'd like it to win.
Yeah,
But I've got a
so
feeling it's gonna be more like Boa or Dofi. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, like at least in Tokyo, Emu play rate's been going up a lot. I think at least if you just look at winners of unofficial tournaments and stuff, Imu's been winning a ton. Especially there's like a couple of people in that Akihabara area that just keep winning with Imu over and over again every single unofficial tournament that there is. So I do think that Imu is the best deck, but this isn't in Tokyo, so we can't really say for sure. There are some things, this is Osaka, and interestingly, there is a bit of a different meta between Osaka and Tokyo because there's like a different elite group in that area. So,
What does that mean?
do you know T Faction?
I do not.
Kocha Habatsu? They're Natsume and whatnot. Okay, well, they're another YouTube channel, but they're based in the Osaka area. And
Okay.
like all of OP13, they were insistent that Ace was the best deck in OP13, and the Tokyo area was like, no, Ima's the best deck. So you had this kind of weird thing where like depending on the region, there's a slightly different meta.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so because we are in T faction territory, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of weird things in Top Cut.
Okay.
So as much as I think that Emu is the best deck, I do think that because we're not in Tokyo, we might not see as many.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Are you expecting more Ace instead, or are you just expecting new stuff?
Oh, I mean, I also don't love Ace right now. I think Ace is a pretty decent. I mean, you have the play rate. I had some. Oh, Emu's second though. But yeah, Ace is 17% play rate. Emu is after that a 13. Green Mihawk has fallen down drastically. We can talk about it a little bit as it goes down. But that deck has been starting to get exploited a little bit. Then we have Hancock at 11% as well. Blue Purple Luffy at 8%. Green Bonnie 6%, and Purple Doflamingo at 6% as well. Interesting. I thought that Purple Doflamingo would be much higher. I was expecting Doflamingo to be like 10% to like 12%.
I was expecting more Bonnie from what we've been hearing a lot, at least the last few weeks. I'm not sure about this week, but there's been a lot of talk about Bonnie. And I feel like it does pretty well into Ace, Mihawk, Boa.
Yeah.
I'd expect a bit more Bonnie, but Green Bonnie, obviously.
Yeah, I think it may be a fear of Emu's play rate coming up because I think that actually, honestly, if you just look at the play rate, oh shit.
Damn.
We have no Emu in Top Cut. We have Blue
That's
Yellow
not...
Hancock at 6. Wait, that's insane.
6 is a lot.
6 is a lot.
Green
Then Red,
Luffy?
it was a 11% play rate, and then there's 6 Hancocks in. Like, I think that deck's good. I didn't think it's that good. Then we have Red Blue Ace at 3, Green Mihawk at 2, Blue Purple Luffy at 2, Green Purple Luffy at 1, Blue Jinbe, and Purple Doflamingo at 1 as well.
That's surprising. The Jinbei and Green Purple Luffy, especially, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Jinbe is not bad. I think that Jinbe is kind of in a similar position to Purple Doflamingo in that both of those decks are like relatively good matchup spread across the board. But Jinbe is very difficult to play, I do have to point out, and but they do both somewhat suffer into Ace. So it's one of those things where like 6,000 power leader and all the blockers that he plays out makes it very difficult to actually like get over the big wall that Ace sets up. So that matchup is difficult, but the other matchups, you know, like Mihawk and whatnot, Jinbe and Doflamingo do tend to just run over that matchup. So that's part of the reason why Mihawk's play rate has been coming down as people are playing more answers.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very curious on specifically Purple Green Luffy, because I feel like it struggles a lot into a number of things. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Alright.
Yeah.
What do we have game one?
We'll see. It
Ooh,
looks like Jinbei sleeves.
that's a Jinbei leader.
Yeah. I need to do the chat interaction thing, so I'm gonna do a poll at every game. You want to win? Jinbei. And what's our next leader?
I don't
Okay.
know. It hasn't come up yet,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But yeah, finally we have Jinbei on stream. I think the first Tokyo Championship there was a Jinbei in top 16, but unfortunately was not shown on stream. There was also the second Tokyo Championship. Crocodile actually made top 16. And from what I heard, at least because I was at that championship, so, you know, I can just like walk around and talk to people.
Yes.
Apparently, the Crocodile hit Ace round 1 of Top Cut, and Bandai knew that that was a bad matchup, so they didn't want to show it. And sure enough, Crocodile did end up losing. So I guess correct not to show it, but unfortunately, we didn't get to see Crocodile on stream at the Tokyo Championship because of that. But I mean, these are just rumors at the end of the day, so who knows?
That's true.
Poll is up. Who do you want to win, Mihawk or Jinbei?
I'm gonna go vote for Jinbei just because I hate Mihawk in general.
I don't dislike Mihawk because I've played against a lot of Hancock recently. Hancock is a nightmare to fight.
Yeah, it seems like it. Sure. A lot of people, well, I guess a number of people in chat asking about Croc. I think Croc, from what I've seen anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but it beats all the new leaders but loses to Emu Ace, if that's correct, right?
Yeah, I think that it beats every single one of the new leaders. Maybe not Jinbei. I haven't tested that matchup, to be honest. But, I mean, it has the tools to be able to deal with a lot of those leaders. But the Ace matchup is devastating, and the Ema matchup, I think you can maybe make that winning for Crocodile with the right play, but it is very difficult. So I think just in general, the thing that's holding back Crocodile is his matchups as well as consistency and difficulty. Because, I mean, once he gets the ball rolling, he really has like a chill time doing whatever he wants to, but it's like sometimes getting that ball rolling can be difficult. But still, unfortunately, Crocodile is not in Top Cut. So let's see what is here, because this is the first time that we are seeing Jinbei on stream, so I'm sorry if I'm going to mess some of these up, because I really haven't seen that much Jinbei gameplay. This is going to be Jinbei against Crocodile. Or not Crocodile, sorry, Mihawk.
I'm seeing a lot of these old Dofi cards, which is interesting.
Yeah. My Jinbei build, I didn't run this Jose, but I did run this 4-cost Law. Just there's some really powerful 1-cost in the Jinbei deck, such as, I forget the name of it, but there's just a simple 1-cost 3000 power character that on play draws you a card. And then with your leader effect, you trash a card, you get 2 the limit. So essentially, it's just a 1-cost 5000. And then being able to bounce that as well as another one of the opponent's characters, or just bounce back 2 of them to get multiple draws and to save the character, is really good for this Jinbei deck.
Nice. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's also cool to see more chump blockers, I guess, since I mean, even since Lucci kind of dropped out of the meta, they've been making a comeback. But it's nice to see them, especially since OP1. He's going first. Can't see.
This is Jinbei going first.
Jinbei going first. Okay.
Yeah, I do believe you probably want to take first in this matchup. It is a matchup I'm not too certain about, but I just imagine Mihawk's very good at playing on curve, so generally he just likes to take whatever the opponent prefers to take, and Jinbei is a deck that just has a swarm of 1-costs, as well as really just hitting first against leaders that are 5000 power is really nice. Unfortunately, Mihawk is not going to be 6000 power in this matchup, and that is very relevant, because that means that this Chi, which on play, if your leader is a Fishman, you get to draw 1 card, is going to be hitting for 5000 power for essentially free once you start using that leader effect.
Yeah, that's always nice. I do forget often that Mihawk becomes a 6k if the opponent is a slash, which isn't exactly relevant given the meta, but it can.
It is
really
relevant in the mirror.
Oh yes, in the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror sucks for Mihawk. This is like the one thing that everyone can agree upon. Whether or not they can agree upon if Mihawk's a good deck or not, they can agree that Mihawk mirror completely sucks. But yeah, Mihawk is going to be playing the recently a bit more popular Supernova version of Mihawk, being able to search out that 10 cost on Beppo with the 2 cost Kin Killer. And hello, Jinbe. It's really just going to want to start playing these 1 cost 3000s onto the board to develop a lot of attackers to just overwhelm Mihawk as quickly as possible. Mihawk really is going to be trying to get down that 7 cost Shanks to try to stem some bleeding. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pick up the one that was in that first search. So is going to be looking for things like that. Things like the 5 cost Piranha, which you do see in his hand, is also going to be somewhat helpful.
I feel like that Perona is a pretty ridiculous card given what it is. Well, 5/6 that can stun 2 things and not KO prevention, but a pretty strong incentive to not KO it is a pretty strong card. But not being searchable, I think, because it's not Slash, it's not certainly not Supernova. Makes it an interesting deck building choice, I think.
Okay, someone asked in chat who you are, so I've updated the title. Actually, I just said plus friend, but maybe that's a bit weird. Okay.
It's alright. I'm a nobody. It's fine.
Yeah. If you've seen some of my videos, he was in a couple of them in the past. But yeah, he's a famous Teach player from Australia.
They always call me Teach from Ikai Lakai. Anywhere I go.
Pulled up the video that I was editing by accident. Yeah, okay. Okay, and sorry, I just got back into this, but it seems like Mihawk did play down the 1 cost Apu to rest the opponent's Arlong so that he couldn't get that extra attack in. Just getting attacks where he can and also using the Kin Killer as an attacker as well to make sure that he clears that card out. And now Jinbe, I mean, still too early to really say how this is really going to end up going, but that Fisher Tiger in his hand, the 6 cost 7000, I think is an insane card. Do you know what it does?
I don't remember. Remind me.
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact number of cards that you need in your hand. I think it may have been 5, but on play it draws 3 cards, and then at the end of your turn you trash cards in your hand until I believe you reach 5, but I don't remember exactly if it was 5 or 6 or whatnot. So you just use your leader effect, you burn a ton of cards in your hand, and then you play down Fisher Tiger and you go back to 5, so you don't have to trash any at the end of the turn, and then you just get a lot of resources and a 6/7 on the board. Yeah, it is 5. Okay, thank you, Reno. Very good card, but yeah, not at that point quite yet. Is just going to be playing the Wadatsumi, I think. Yeah, which is a 5 cost or 3 cost 5000 with 2000 counter that cannot attack. But if you were to trash card, which with your lead effect is very easy to, then he can attack because he'll be able to negate himself. Essentially, just a vanilla card with 2k counter. So maybe not ideal, but is going to start to use that leader effect, get some attacks in now.
I do just want to quickly answer someone from chat asking about Teach in the current meta. We'll be honest, I have not been playing him in the current meta, but there's a good reason for that. I think it does just kind of get steamrolled by Emu, Ace, and Zoro, to be honest, which kind of, I mean, kind of makes it hard to play in where it gets beat by just about every deck that's popular. You can go do some cool things with Black Vortex, like negating Peter, but it does force them. It doesn't force them, sorry, but it only works if the Emu swings with Peter first, which is not a great way to play the game.
Yeah.
So
both players currently just ignoring the board. Mihawk going into leader again. Jinbe having to think about exactly what he really wants to do about this because Mihawk does have a lot of small characters on the board that will be able to effectively answer Jinbe's characters. So it does counter that attack, which means that this Chu is going to be much easier to take out.
Looking at Jinbe's hand, the Jozu probably not going to be doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
At least for a while, it seems.
If he doesn't find another Chu or something, or like an Arlong that can replenish his hand while also searching, for example, you won't really be able to use that Jozu quite yet, and the targets on Mihawk's board really aren't that great either. Like, you don't want to give any of the cards that are on the screen currently really back to Mihawk.
No, not at all. I guess the best target would be Perona, but even then, it's definitely not worth doing.
Yeah.
I guess there's an argument for it. because they want to play Shanks instead of another buggy, not buggy, Piranha. But
Mm.
I don't know. It's probably not worth it.
Yeah, actually, this is really interesting the way that Mihawk is playing this. I feel like probably Mihawk has actually practiced this matchup with the way that he is playing because he is choosing to hit into leader. Yes, he did play the Pirona to lock them, but he's playing a lot more aggressively than I feel like most people would in this matchup.
Mm.
See
This
if that
definitely
ends up biting him in
seems.
the end. Yeah.
This definitely seems like a matchup where you'd want to starve. At least just from a basic point of view, as Jinbei is going to be obviously trashing cards a lot,
Mm,
but he also regains his card advantage with a lot of the cards that he plays.
yeah.
So it's interesting to see whether starving is actually a valid strategy against Jinbei.
Hmm. Yeah, but still, Mihawk right now deciding not to do so against the 9-0 Jinbei. And Jinbei, with the fact that this Chu stayed on the board, would have been able to play down that Jozo next turn, but decides not to instead. Hikonojo getting that end of turn effect to restand herself. At the end of the turn, Jozo being cut for counter in the end. And let's see if things like this Fisher Tiger will come down. Ooh, Pudding. Of course, it's a blue deck, so we have Pudding.
Of course.
Yeah, probably
Pudding.
not the timing for this, but an option down the line for sure.
And there's the Fisher Tiger, yeah.
Yeah. And Fisher Tiger. Right now, there's no downside, just a 6-7 that draws 3 cards. Now,
Very
just going to
strong.
be given a lot more options. I believe has one more dong at his disposal. Doesn't find a 1 cost, so that 1 dong will likely just be allocated to one of his characters or leader to just attack for more.
Hmm.
Every time I say 6-7, chat starts spamming 6-7.
That's got to go. Got to start banning that number.
No, I need the interaction. Chat, 6-7. But
Grown man, by the way.
interestingly, yeah, so he does need to use his leader effect a couple of times this turn to make sure that he doesn't actually end up losing them due to that Fisher Tiger effect.
Hmm.
Seems like he's trashing too. Yeah, just dump all of his dong onto his leader. Yeah, and is just trying to break through Mihawk. And I think that you can afford to
Fair
do this
enough.
because you have that pudding in your hand. Just getting those
Yeah,
attacks
absolutely.
and making the opponent's hand as big as possible because you know in the end it's just not going to matter.
Hmm. It's very true. Mihawk does have the Law Beppo as well, this is somewhat unrelated, but it will buff him to 7k if Jinbei doesn't play around it, which I imagine would be a pretty big point in this matchup. Just to stay at 7 so that these
Hmm.
lots of smaller attacks just can't really get through, or it's not really worth attaching so much Don to him.
Yeah. And the way that Mihawk was playing this before, hitting into leader instead of the Chu, although Chu was locked, next turn Chu is going to be able to attack again if he doesn't play that second Pirona. So I think his logic right now is probably that he feels fine ignoring that Chu because he does have that 7-cost Shanks within his hand. So even if you use your leader effect to put 2 Dong onto Chu, it's still only going to be 4,000. But I think it's still somewhat scary because the opponent, you know, being a blue deck, can pudding you and just dump all of that Dong onto characters and your leader to just get this crazy lethal.
That's very true, because Boa does a similar thing, correct?
Hmm.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a disgusting lethal pattern, I guess you could call it. But I don't think Mihawk plays that many blockers, so the perfume doesn't do that much, I believe,
Hmm.
in this matchup specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Mihawk doesn't really run that many blockers. I don't even know if there's any build of Mihawk that does run blockers by default. So,
Yeah.
not something that's that relevant within this matchup. Also, something that I have been noticing with Jinbei players recently, they're either reducing or cutting the 8-cost Jinbei. So, something of note. Be curious to
Okay.
see if he is going to be running that card as well. Yeah, Shanks effect
Certainly.
with the lead effect is going to immediately get that effect off and is going to be resting the Fisher Tiger.
Probably slamming all of that into the. Yep.
Yeah, is just trying to take out that Fisher Tiger so that there's less attacks on the board. And this is a bit of an awkward spot because Jinbei, if he counters out this attack, which can he? This is 10 into 7, so he can. I believe that those koalas in hand are 2Ks. Yeah, I think they are. So he can defend this, but that also means that he has less fuel to use his leader effect the next turn if he were to.
Mm.
So another thing to consider, Thankfully, though, Mihawk doesn't have any extra attacks on the board to be able to actually hit into that Fisher Tiger once again. So Jinbei can be pretty confident that if he were to counter this out, then he will be able to defend that Fisher Tiger for this turn.
Absolutely. I think it really depends whether Jinbei needs to start pushing for game in these next 2 turns. Oh, and there we go. It's been defended. Which I definitely feel like it needs to do. I think maybe putting and apply as much pressure as possible on this turn.
Yeah.
Or even potentially go for maybe not a lethal this turn, but diminish their resources as much as possible. And just go for a lethal on the following turn.
It's not impossible, if he gets like a really bad hand off of pudding. But he will only be able to use his leader effect once. I believe, at least. I don't remember what Hachan's effect is. Yeah. Okay, let's see it. Are we going to get the world's fastest top 16 match? And the numbers above the players are, first of all, the number on the left is their... Ooh. I mean,
is it?
At least he has some counter. It's something. Yeah, it's the place that they came in preliminary rounds in the Swiss round, and then their wins and losses. So Jinbei is 9-0, second place in Swiss, and now 9k leader. I mean, he is forced to take this. And with his leader effect, he can hit for 10, and also he can hit with Wadazumi as well. Oh, sorry, this is 8k
leader?
Yeah, 8k leader. My bad.
The Shanks.
Yeah. Okay, so he can defend this at the very least, but it would cost him a lot. So he may, just prefer to take that attack. He uses leader effect. He's going for it. This is going to be 10 at leader.
Counters out.
Yeah, he does have it. Picks up a 2k from life. So is able to defend that attack, but he really only needed... Oh no, he did need that. I mean, I'm not paying enough attention.
Yes, he did.
He did need that, right?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah, because he only had up to 9 in his hand, so he did need a 2k from counter, and he does find it. And now with Jinbei, 0 cards in hand, and technically 5 attackers on the board. Yeah, these small things are actually going to be quite relevant. I don't know if you actually need to start with the Kikunojo here. You could just start with leader, but you know that this 5k attack is going to go through. So now it's probably just going to be game for Mihawk instead, because unfortunately, the pudding Gamba, well, unless this is...
don't know what that card is.
It's Red Rock! Wait.
It's Red Rock? Wait, surely.
I mean, unfortunately, it only bottoms at 4 cost, so you can't get rid of Perona, but that'd be crazy. He's thinking about it. I mean...
There's no advantage to holding onto it, right?
Well, if you hold on to it, there's the chance the opponent thinks that it's something like Gum Gum Rain, which also has a trigger, and then that may scare the opponent into changing their counters, but then they may just end up hitting at 5k again, and that also is pretty bad. But, I mean, again, bottoming this Kid Killer is really not that great. Like, I don't necessarily think it saves you. I mean, maybe it does.
Well,
I mean, 7, he
has... it might, because... this is 1k power difference.
Left. Doesn't have anything in his hand that would give him any extra damage. So it would end up being, I think... 5779 or 5689. It does get a little bit awkward. He does end up losing 1k counter if he gets rid of this Kid and Killer. In a weird way.
I don't think there's any world where Mihawk plays another turn here, so I really don't feel like there's any benefit to holding on to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Shanks effect makes Wadatsumi 4k, so he wouldn't get the extra hit on that turn. Really thinking about this. At least he does the time, though, and this does give us something to talk about a little bit. I think the opponent's probably... Yeah, it does use it. Gets rid of the Kid and Killer.
Still going with that.
Yeah. Oh, he's going 5k again. I really don't know if I agree with the way that he's attaching his Dong, though. Because he only has 3 Dong left at his disposal. So it is probably just going to end up being 779, and if he draws enough counter... No,
No,
he didn't.
that's it.
It was a
That's the
1K,
game.
1K, so it does end up going through. A little bit scary in the end, but the attacks go through, and that is going to be the top 16 match in a rather quick 15-minute match for the Mihawk player.
It's very quick, especially compared to OP13 meta, which
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
I forgot
currently
to end
in.
the poll. So we had a poll going on for like 20 minutes. But thank you for those who interacted with it. Unfortunately, Jinbei was not the winner this time. But at least we got
Very
to see
exciting.
some Jinbei. Jinbei had, yeah, I guess he did have to go for lethal 3 that he was playing. He couldn't really play the longer game at that point, especially with his draw on that turn. Has to go for the lethal. The opponent finds exactly 2k in his life and is enough for him to survive.
Very interesting. Shank's
Yeah.
a good card.
Shank's a good card for sure. Yeah, Shank's
Mm.
not only forced him to burn 2 cards from his hand, which would have equated to 4 dong, also reduced the opponent's power by 1k, which meant that he had effectively 2 more free 1k counters from the reduction of Fisher Tiger as well as Wadatsumi. So unfortunately, in the end, Wadatsumi not able to get a single attack in, I believe, until the end, or
Yeah, it
not
didn't do
even.
anything.
Yeah, just didn't do anything in the end. It would have just been better in hand.
In fact, if he kept it in hand, he would have had one more for
Yeah.
leader availability, and that would have done the game.
Yeah, I don't think that like you can really think that far ahead,
No.
unfortunately. You just need to kind of hope that the opponent doesn't have the specific answers or the specific counter that he did end up having at his disposal. But I mean, there were some small things, like he did counter one of the attacks that went to his leader, and that did force him to go down a lot in resources. So unfortunately, in the end, Jinbei just doesn't have enough resources in his hand and just barely doesn't have enough damage.
Unfortunate, but it is what it is.
They did show this. I want to see what the other things are, because Ichiban Kuji is usually like one really nice prize and then like 80 different colors of a coaster.
Yes. I definitely have a fair share of those. Ooh, is that a playmat?
Oh, okay, wait, hold on. It's a
The last one
blanket.
is a blanket.
Yeah, it's a huge blanket, which is cool. You have a dice cushion. Oh, dude, imagine using that as your like leader marker. It's like effect
Oh,
used, and it's a massive cushion on the board.
damn, it's almost a meter. It's 90 centimeters.
The blanket is the blanket. The
What am I looking at right now?
wait, what are these?
These,
These look like proxies.
they do not look good. They look very small. Are these like from the? Oh, these might be the Ichiban Kuji like things. Maybe.
But like, it would have been cool if they just like gave you a pack or like actual cards from the game or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know about the legality of that because I think that card games are technically considered gambling in Japan. But yeah, I don't know exactly what those were. If I'm sure that we're gonna have a break so we can go back and see exactly what the pricings are because you know, I heard that Pokemon collectors are into One Piece recently.
Oh,
These are
tell me
nice though.
about it. These are very nice. A lot of the talk today at the at regionals was about the Poke Bros.
Were there any
And,
there?
No, there was
Oh.
well, not that I could see anyway, but
Mhm.
there was a lot of people buying things to sell to the Poke Bros. So there's that. I like that Bonnie a lot. It's probably
Yeah,
one
you
of my
would say that.
favorites. Okay, bro.
My brother actually pulled that card, which is quite nice.
That's
Oh,
nice.
this is quite nice.
Ooh,
I mean, it's probably not worth the price, but
no.
they're kind of cool. Oh, they have plus and minus depending on the side too. That's quite nice.
That is very nice.
Yeah, this is the thing. Is like these are nice, but it's not like something that I would want to spend like $5 on. At least like, you know, Japanese $5, because that's like a lunch.
I don't like
Like,
using counters or like markers a lot when I play. I find it more annoying than helpful.
I think like in the West it's a bit more standardized.
A little bit.
Yeah, like Japan, you don't really see people using markers that much. Oh, that's cool. It's too bad they should have made these usable. Is it like I think they're the right size and everything.
Are they not? Can you not like slide a leader into it so it has the text?
I think it's just like an acrylic slab.
be so easy to like cut a hole in the top though, surely.
I mean, who
Like
knows?
slide it in.
At least we have a lot of reveals so we can fill out some of this time because that game did end rather quickly.
Mm.
Yeah. But guys in chat, what time and where are you guys watching from? I'm always curious because I do think that it's like dead of night for some people.
It would be, yeah. These are the handtails, I'm guessing? Look like it.
4:30 Tokyo. Oh. I may not have collected you. I have a small server of people playing in Tokyo. I don't know how you can contact me though. Maybe send me an
Hey.
email. I don't know if you're not in my Discord server. Yeah.
Denver,
1:30. A lot of 1:30
32.
bros.
My man. Oh,
Very cool.
well,
Thank you for chilling with me on a Saturday night.
thank you
Hawaii.
very much.
Ooh, a couple of Hawaiis. Canada. Italy. Very nice. Surprising, there's a lot of Americans today. Usually it's a lot of Europeans. Oh,
That makes
Friday
sense.
night.
Oh, Friday night for Americans, I think.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Time zones are weird. This is
3:30
cute.
p.m. Australia. He's so cute.
I,
like the
I wish
chopper
that I wish that Luffy's face looked a little bit better, but it is very Luffy.
It is.
Texas,
Try it, mate.
Australia. Hey,
Tote bag.
tote bag. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't use
Oh.
tote bags that much. This looks very nice. I just would never use it.
Yeah, I have oh my god, I don't know. I have a yeah, I'll show it on stream. This is the bag that I use usually.
Mm-mm.
It's got a bunch of like pins and stuff on it. Two of them came off today in the regional.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's tragic. I lost one of them.
Mm.
Just to add to an already bad day. But
Yeah. Hold on. I have a big pin collection as well. Maybe it's very disorganized, but we have some time, so maybe I'll show it on stream.
yeah. So all of mine was in like a single bag. Okay, guess so. Hey chat, it's my stream now. What's up? Yeah, I had a lot of those pin badges because I did live in Japan for a part.
Okay.
You just collect those for a while.
So
Like yo.
I used to have a big necklace with a bunch of pins on them, but my recent ones don't fit on it anymore, so I just have some of them lying around on my desk.
Whoa.
But yeah, I have it is a lot. It's just kind of things I've been collecting over the years of my life. Well, let me maybe after we look at this big blanket, I'll zoom into my camera and show off some of these. Because all of them have little stories. However little. I don't remember some of them.
That's nice.
Mm.
I just bought mine. Wherever.
Yeah.
No stores.
Germany.
USD chopper slaves.
I don't know where I'd even, like, even as a content creator, I don't know if I could use this blanket.
Yeah.
It's like, the
It's
best
like
I could do
not big
is
enough.
throw it in the background, but I think it's like a little bit too big for a background piece and a little bit too small as a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a piece of fabric.
Mhm.
Oh.
Ooh.
Anyone chat playing Riftbound? Riftbound fun.
Oh,
Good
hold on.
game. It is a play, man. I was right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the...
Oh, you're looking at the other things.
Yeah, I was looking at the other things. This looks
is
like,
cool.
yeah, I mean, this is quite nice. It looks like those playmats that you see a lot selling in the USA, like the custom playmats and whatnot.
Yeah.
Have like a bunch of manga panels, but this is quite nice.
Pretty nice. The Brook
Yeah,
on
I
the
do
light
like
is
that
very
the zones actually do something.
cool. Yeah.
Just realized that you put down your leader, you can never see Chopper.
It's tragic.
Yeah, this is cute though. You have the, Chopper Robin interaction. You have Sanji plus woman interaction.
Mhm.
Cute.
Yeah, it's nice.
Wonder
I
how
don't
much
like a lot of the
these end up
visual
going
ones, to
for.
be honest. But
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
I have the one that I use mainly now is the one from the 2023 championships. The this one, the Yamato Ace one,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We never had that in
which
Japan.
yeah, I like it because this one actually has zones on it, whereas a lot of the other official ones don't.
I prefer not having zones.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I never adhere to them.
Maybe that's fair.
Yeah, I usually don't even use a playmat, so that's something.
Mm. I usually don't just because my locals
Mhm.
has like playmats on the tables already, so I
Yeah,
generally don't feel the need to bring my own one.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Uh,
yeah.
Speaking of Riftbound, though, I did actually play some of it because my friend brought some Riftbound cards to Japan, and Tomohappy tweeted about it.
Hmm.
Mr. Saito Tomoharu himself. See if I can find it. Oh, he tweets a lot, doesn't he? Actually, let me pull this up on stream because it's content. Dun, 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 dun. When did I meet him? I don't even remember at this point. Uh, my God, he posts so much. Can't find it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Look, look, guys, it's my hand.
There he is.
It's me playing set against Ari and figuring out the rules as I go. I think this is me in the middle of throwing because I had no idea exactly what Divine Intervention does because there's so many keywords on it that I don't understand. I was like, I'm gonna play Divine Intervention, and I end up like ruining my own hand and everything. But yeah, Riftbound was fun though, and I was secretly playing it in Tomohappy's studio.
It's a fun game. I've only played a few rounds,
Hmm.
just between me and friends with the Victor starter deck.
Hmm.
It definitely borrows a lot of aspects. Well, not a lot, but it borrows like the kind of
Hmm.
leader aspect from One Piece, as well as the rune system is very much like Don. But
It felt
yeah,
Yeah, it felt very One Piece, except for like it doesn't have dome attachment and
yes,
whatnot, and like best of threes integrated into the worlds, which is kind of cool.
mm,
The battlefields are nice. I was thinking about if I were to make a card game, what would I end up doing? And I was thinking that like stages would be very core to them. Like you have your
yes,
leader that you choose, but also a stage that you choose at the start of the game, so that like although you have like a leader effect, you can kind of like change it very slightly at the start of the game.
mm,
Which is like kind of what ended up happening with EMA. So very interesting that they ended up printing that leader in the end.
sure.
I had this idea like years ago, um, and
Or it was cool, yes, of
yeah,
course.
so Bandai stole from me. But then like Riftbound kind of has a similar sort of thing with the battlefields or whatever they called battlegrounds or whatnot. Um,
Setting.
yeah, where like they're kind of like minor effects, but you do get effects depending on which battlefield you control. So then like there's some cool things there. I think there's a lot of cool ideas. A lot of it
Mm,
does work similarly to One Piece. The main phase you can do anything in any order as well.
I love that. I hate like Magic. I tried playing Magic for a little bit. I just don't like how it's like you have to declare all your attackers at once, and it's not
Mm,
like it's very step by step. I very much enjoy like kind of main phase soup, as some say.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, like One Piece, you can mess up your opponent with the difference in sequencing and timing and whatnot, so the opponent doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. But yeah, hold on, let me do a bit of a pin showcase. So,
Yeah, let's see it.
da-da. Yeah, okay. So I have a couple of random things. I'm trying to remember who this artist is. Maybe I don't remember if it's Demizu. No, it's not Demizu Polska. I remember, but there's a popular Japanese illustrator who did a Disney collab. So I have a Snow White drawn by them. I have a thing drawn by Soso, who has done things like the SP from what's it called? Sugar SP, a couple of those other cute cards and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I have a
that's nice.
9 3/4 pin from my trip to London, and some other things like Van Gogh Museum, flower, and then I have a bunch of Hard Rock Cafe pins. If anyone has cool Hard Rock Cafe pins, then throw them at me. But I have like a whole bunch of things. This is probably my favorite pin. The bathhouse from Spirited Away as a pin. I think this is exclusive to Ghibli Park down in
That's cute.
like
Oh, really?
Osaka or Aichi or something. A couple of
Mm.
random things. You could see a couple of my Hard Rock Cafe pins and whatnot. I have just like random things that I picked up when I was like 7 on here, like the New York Jets pin for some reason. But there's a lot of random pins here and
Oh,
there.
right.
Yeah. Even like I made a little Coca-Cola pin again when I was like 7 because I've just been having this small collection going on for my whole life. But yeah.
Why Hard Rock specifically?
Just they make nice pins. I think it's
Okay.
just I bought one when I was young, and then now it's like when I see a different Hard Rock that I haven't been to, I feel obligated to get one. Like there's a I have in Osaka because there's only one Hard Rock per city. So like each Hard Rock just
Oh,
has the city name on it. I have a Hard Rock Osaka, I have Paris, I have Tokyo, I have Kyoto, I have Guam, and I have what was this one again? Very it's Piccadilly Circus, but it's very, very Londony, so you know where that one's from. Yeah. I mean, okay, a
nice.
little bit of show and tell as and perfectly on time because we are back into the stream. That's a content creator. We get these timings just like a radio station. Now, top 16, as we mentioned, 6 Hancock, 3 Ace. Oh, oh you got
Oh, there
he
we go.
did.
You got the
Did
thing back.
oh my god, he did the meme where you like pull the backstage, nothing changes. I was so confused. Like, what just happened? But yeah,
Yeah,
there's 3
good.
Hancock now, 2 Ace, 1 Mihawk, 1 green purple Luffy, and 1 purple Doflamingo.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm glad the
so
Luffy survived.
so the Hancocks have gone down by half. There's still 2 out of 3 Aces left, 1 out of 2 Mihawks left. The blue purple Luffy is gone, but green purple Luffy and purple Doflamingo do remain. What do you
Hmm.
think is going to win today? Slightly late, I guess, to ask this,
Got
but
there.
yeah, with this top 8, what do you think? And I guess chat as well. What are you hoping to
Hmm.
win out of the remaining 8 leader or 8 decks? 5 leaders.
Interesting. I don't want Ace to win. Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't want
Okay.
Mihawk to win. Uh,
Mhm.
so really, I'm between Purple Green Luffy or Dofi.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I would never have rooted for a green purple Luffy, but the fact that we haven't seen it in so long, I am rooting for that deck to win, for sure.
Hmm.
Purple Doflamingo would also be kind of cool, but in terms of like what deck I actually think will win, it's kind of a tricky question because Ima's not in the picture anymore. So like,
That's true.
I mean, it's just kind of like how these decks stack up against each other, and these are just a lot of very niche matchups. Like we are going to see the green purple Luffy on stream against blue yellow
Okay.
Hancock. So blue
Interesting.
yellow Hancock, an extremely annoying deck. It's tricky to hit into Hancock because they can trigger out characters, Gorgon Sisters being one of the most crazy triggers within the game, and also very difficult to take out their board because if you take out one of their Kuja or Amazon Lily type characters that costs, or not costs, has 5,000 base power or higher, then you have to take one of your life to your hand. And Hancock, a Warlord deck that can very easily run things like Perfume Femur and very easily get the opponent down to 0 life, makes it so that you sometimes feel like you're on a timer, especially with their flavor of the Big Mom, or 10 cost Big Mom in that 9 cost Hancock. Does seem like Green Purple Luffy is going to be going first, though.
It'll be interesting to see how. Well, hopefully we can. I don't know about hopefully, but we can see that putting Perfume lethal pattern in this game, probably, if it comes down to it. It'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see because Luffy is a deck known to brick and brick hard. So it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, like, a deck like Blue Purple Luffy, Ace, and Ima do have the resources to be able to actually manage to get enough counter to defend against something like the 20,000 leader off of, Hancock, 9 cost Hancock with Perfume Femur. But the thing with Green Purple Luffy is although he does have access to things like Gum Gum Giant, he doesn't really have that many other counter events. So unless he has multiple Gum Gum Giants, which are already difficult to use on the same turn, it's very difficult to actually defend against that 20,000 leader, let alone the pudding plus 16,000. So
Right.
it may end up coming down to that. We'll have to see. But Green Purple Luffy, we'll have to see really how he wants to play out this matchup, because I have seen it here and there in OP14. I just haven't seen it make top cut yet.
I haven't seen it for quite some time, actually, over here in the West. It really has just been Emu, Ace, Sorrow, with some Sabo and Roger mixed in, but really none of the old decks other than Sorrow. So, pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so Vivi, I think Vivi is a solid deck. I think that people are underrating her. She does very much struggle into Emu, unfortunately, but with his play rate being lower, I do see a reason to play her a bit more. But the Hancock matchup is also very difficult. Hancock matchup is hard to deal with their board, and eventually you're going to be put down to 0 whether you like it or not, and they're just going to Perfume Femur you and you lose. So those two matchups hold back Vivi, but if you ignore those two matchups, the deck's very good.
We did also see that new promo Luffy, which is a very strong card, I think. I think it's, well, activate main. If one of your Straw Hat type characters would be KO'd, something happens. It doesn't? Something like that. Not particularly useful in this matchup, I don't think. But...
I'm going to put back my pins on my shelf, so give me 1 second.
Sure. Hey chat, how's it going? How you doing today? Someone earlier asked about Adventure Time, which I didn't get to say at the time, but...
Okay, sorry if I knocked my mic just now. But yeah, let's get into the game. I haven't commentated over Green Purple Luffy in quite a while, so the West is probably going to be a bit more knowledgeable as it's been a bit more recent for them. But this Hancock player looks familiar. They might be the Rebecca player from OP04, who got second in one of the championships, I think. I may be just misremembering, but he looks like him.
I couldn't say
it. Yeah. Oh, he does have Rebecca Dong though, so like, it might be him. He has Rebecca Dong.
He's him. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so Hancock does have a couple of versions. The most popular version is the Trigger Hancock that just runs an insane amount of triggers, just hoping that every single one of your life is going to be Gorgon Sisters. And Luffy is going to be testing that with this first hit. Haku thinking about if he really wants to take this attack. Yeah, oh, I guess the stream also as well talking about Gorgon Sisters. The potential of something like this coming out, but there's going to be no trigger, which is honestly very pivotal.
There we go, reading the Robin.
Yeah. 3-cost Robin. This is a new promo card, which once per turn, if one of your Straw Hat characters would be removed from the battlefield by one of the opponent's effects, you can instead rest one of your Dong cards. So right now, not protected, but Robin does end up actually protecting herself as well. I don't think that Hancock as a whole really runs that much removal, but you know, just another thing on the board.
It's very true.
Oh.
Seeing Kuma, I know in the West especially that Kuma is getting very expensive. So for anyone looking to build a Boa deck, have fun with that.
I have seen Hancocks not run Kuma. I haven't played enough Hancock to say if that's actually correct. But I do think that you can definitely get away without running that card, because even in Japan it's quite expensive. So I wouldn't fret over it too much. Maybe in the end the correct build will be to run it, but there are so many versions of Hancock that work because of the core of just these really solid trigger cards, as well as Perfume Femur and the 9-cost Hancock, that sometimes, you know, you don't really need that Kuma to actually win out the game. So who knows in the end? It's not searchable either, so, you know, even if you run it, no guarantee you'll actually find it. So, you know, just whatever feels best for you is honestly probably the best answer I can give. Yeah. So Luffy just trying to put as many characters as he can onto the board. I think that he is just trying to rush down the opponent, who does have a pretty interesting card, the EV02 or 1 event, 02 event, that increases your power by 6,000. So another way to just break through the opponent's defenses also has the 4-cost Nami, which is actually searchable because it is a Straw Hat. Not off of this Zorojiro, I believe, because I think Zorojiro only reaches purple cards. So just a couple of interesting cards that we are seeing in this deck. Just trying to make as many characters on the board right now, and is looking to not let the game get to a point where the opponent can safely use Perfume Femur.
Absolutely. That new Nami I do want to talk about a little bit. It seems very, very strong for green, just as a
Yep.
generic card, but specifically in green purple Luffy, and these cards that run a lot of counter events. Because it gets more than what it costs back at the end of your turn, which feels very overstated. But what do you think?
Surprisingly, not many people are running it. It may just be the way that green decks play right now. Also, yeah, sorry, chat. Yeah, it is technically searchable off of Sengoku. Right now, the builds don't really revolve around Sengoku as much, so I wasn't thinking about that, but that is true. But yeah, the 4-cost Nami is just a very good closer index that don't necessarily have good closers, but it's not run index like Mihawk, for example, because of the fact that they do have things like the 9-cost Mihawk and the 7-cost Shanks. But in those decks that don't have those very easy ways to get over the opponent's blockers, like Green Purple Luffy, those cards are really strong, in my opinion.
I was seeing the Kuma come down to heal 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one heal is going to be another chance for Boa to trigger out a character, just pushing away lethal a little bit further while also developing a very powerful body. I was talking with my friend, which kind of ties back to brain rot, but we were talking about how it'd be really funny to make a YouTube short, which is who's the best 6-7 in the game. But we realized it's maybe a bit too late to get in on that meme.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But so I'll ask chat now because it's not going to end up becoming a video. What is the best 6-7, if not Kuma? Because I think Kuma may just be it.
Sweet Josie, right?
So there's a lot of like really strong cards because I have actually thought about this. There's Kuma, there's Jozu, there's Secret Luffy, there's the other Secret Luffy. There's like some cards that are specifically very good in certain decks, like the Secret Subble within Subble. Like a lot of people are saying Jozu, but yeah, like Jozu is insane, but there are a lot of really good 6-7s.
I think just Jozu has so much versatility. I feel like he can really slot into just about any blue deck.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you think about generic usability, like even though something like Secret Luffy is just an insane card, specifically in Green Purple Luffy, which, you know, he also has it, so we can actually talk about relevant 6-7s. It's not very good in other purple decks, unfortunately. Kuma as well, very powerful card, but not used in every single yellow deck. May also just be the fact that yellow as a whole hasn't been seen that much recently. But basically every single blue deck, I mean, even Jinbei, which is an aggro deck, and you know, historically Doflamingo, another aggro deck, has been running that card despite it being a little bit comparatively slower.
Just being able to bounce such a high cost threshold for its own cost, as well as returning a 2k or a search to your own hand, or even to your own units, which happens a lot in the Ace versus Emu matchup.
That's an interesting card. The film Sanji from OP13 on play activates two Dong, and then if your leader is Straw Hat, which he is, at the end of your turn, you also get another Dong back. So a little bit more defense there, and just getting that active Dong alongside your leader effect, which seems like he's going to be using now, just gets a lot of Dong back, so you can really start to ramp up some pressure.
Not seeing any Sanji puddings on the board yet, though.
Yeah.
Which could be detrimental to Luffy in these next few turns.
For sure. I think it's unfortunate, despite the number of searches that he's been able to do, to not find that Sanjin pudding. But he has still been holding on. This 5-cost Sanji. Ah! I hate this deck, man. I hate this deck.
Hey,
Gorgon Sisters. No.
Do nothing.
Oh my god. And just the timing that Green Purple Luffy goes to 6k leader, Hancock decides that her entire board is also 6k.
Tragic. Very tragic.
Oh, tragic. Yeah, just not finding that Sanjin pudding and the opponent getting that trigger. Does he find it now? He still doesn't see it.
Oh,
Uh, I do think
not
that
looking good.
despite the fact that he doesn't have that Sanjin pudding, he has been able to develop quite well. But just at this point,
Yes.
it really sucks because you do want to start getting things like that secret Luffy onto the board.
Mm, absolutely. And we're going into, what is this, 8 on turn? If I
Yeah,
could be
I
wrong.
think so. Yeah,
Okay, so
8 on
from
turn.
next turn, that 9 cost barrow is going to be coming out and putting a lot of pressure on Luffy's life and just ripping it straight from hand, getting closer to that perfume range too, which could be scary. Could be
Hmm.
scary.
Yeah. Oh, and he does run that single, which means that the 6 Suskuma
There's
is
the
in fact
Kuma.
searchable, does see one, and does pick it up. So once again, just slowly going to move away the opponent's lethal, should he choose to play it this turn. And it seems like that's probably going to be the best option. He doesn't really have that many other great cards in his hand right now. But
Mm.
just the fact that he has that 6 cost Kuma, the 9 cost Hancock, as well as the 1 cost Wadawa Koi, which effectively stops one attack, it's going to be very tricky for Luffy to actually be able to get over the defenses that Hancock surprisingly has been able to build up.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of life gain, which I guess makes sense given the build.
Hmm.
But decks that just, or I guess specifically yellow decks that just kind of keep stacking life,
Hmm.
historically haven't done that well competitively. So it's interesting to see something like this perform at such a high level.
Hmm. Yeah, like the The thing is, like, this trigger Hancock build, the cards that come out of your trigger aren't necessarily that strong, but they're really hard to get rid of because of your leader effect. So it's kind of like damned if you do,
Mm.
damned if you don't. And if you end up hitting into the opponent's leader, which I think is probably the correct option for Luffy in this situation, because if he waits and tries to play the long game, I think he does end up getting outpaced by things like 9-cost Hancock. Um, then you just, if the opponent ends up triggering something out like that Dung, like that Gorgon Sisters, then it just gets harder and harder.
Absolutely. We did also see Sables in that search,
Mhm.
which
Ooh.
interesting card to see.
Yeah, and it's searchable. Very interesting because it's a crocodile's
Yes.
move. So,
Mm.
kind of cool things. Also, very good anti-Mihawk tech as well.
Yes, because it bounces that Shanks right back to hand.
Yeah. So, pretty good tech card, searchable as well. I do like Kaku. Like, I think the reason, assuming that this is the Rekka player from OP04, the reason why I
Mm.
remember so well is because I really liked his list for Rebecca back in the day. But I think that this Hancock build feels very comfortable. Everything makes sense right now. And with that,
Mm.
Trigger Gorgon Sisters revealing 3 cards is going to just be able to attach a Residong to all of the characters that can attack.
Very strong. Very, very strong. We're giving up a lot of hand knowledge.
Yeah, that is the main downside, is the opponent can more easily calculate what's in your hand, but they can't really account for what could be in your life. So it's a lot of
That's true.
things that you need to think about.
Mm.
Still, though,
Going for
it's a
4
lot of
hits.
pressure.
Certainly is. It's a full board of
Mm,
5s, 7s. Quite
yeah.
scary.
Yeah, I do think that Hancock has identified that if she just doesn't die, then she's going to end up winning with the way that the board has developed.
Still yet to see a Sanji pudding from Pink Purple.
Yeah, and this is despite 4 searches, I believe. So it's really all of them in the bottom half of the deck.
Felt like we did see one in one of the searches, but they elected to select a different card.
Mm.
But to be honest, I've not been paying a huge amount of attention. So
I haven't been able to see all of the cards in the search as well, but yeah, Hancock going to go for the 8K leader and going to be Deadman's out of life, so not going to be that Sunjin pudding as well. Although I saw a guy in chat was theorizing that maybe they're all in life. Yeah, immediately uses that Deadman's game, so did come in handy. That one dong that he got back from that Sanji end of turn effect is going to be able to absorb that 8K attack because his leader is 6K right now. But I mean, still doesn't have that Sanji pudding.
still,
Does find another searcher, which is something, but his time is running out.
actually, what alt art is that? I don't think I've seen that one before. Or is it? Oh, it's the EBO2, PRBO2. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
Purple Nami. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way for Luffy to get back into this game at this point. It does seem quite
Yeah.
done.
I think even if he finds the Sanjin pudding at this point, it's just too little too late at this point. Because then the
Yeah.
turn after that, he's going to start developing things like that 6-cost Luffy. And because Hancock is going to most assuredly play down that 9-cost Hancock the turn after that, I
Mhm.
mean, if GP Luffy doesn't have lethal immediately, then the game is just over, if it even gets to that point.
Might be seeing the Rush Luffy coming out here.
Yeah, he may just need to go for it. I don't think that you really have the time to play down the Searcher anymore. You just need to
Mm.
speed up the pace of the game. Is going to go for it.
I can't quite tell how much counter is in Boa's hand. It looks like no Don after, so that
Yeah.
Boy is not active.
Yeah, it's hard
Looking
to
like
tell
one,
exactly
two,
which
three,
cards are in hand, but
I want to say 4 to 5 bricks, which could be enough.
oh, that's Margaret. Yeah, so that doesn't have counter. Hiyori is a 2K single because of 1K. I don't know what the card second from the left is. Oh, it might be Rayleigh? But
Mm.
he may... I think he's just going for it. He may have it.
I think he has to.
Yeah, I mean, he has to go for it. But this is a lot of attacks that's going to come out of Green Purple Luffy. This may be a bit of a blunder. Let's see how Hancock can respond, though.
Oh, here we go. Close up.
Okay, it
3,
is Rayleigh. So
4K
yeah,
counter
4K
total.
counter in hand. Oh my
Triggering.
god. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Oh, it's Margaret, which is going to cycle because it plays out the card. You do
that's
have to
not very
trash a card.
helpful.
Oh no. Attaching that Dolan to leader is really hurting him right now. I think he didn't expect the opponent to be able to go for lethal right now, but is going to be able to pick up a 2K and is now forced to trash one card off of the Margaret effect, unfortunately. So it gets
Is
rid
that
of one of those
enough?
bricks. Now has another 2K and he has 6K counter in his hand.
That might be it. Is it
Yeah,
enough?
I think it's enough then.
Wow.
And 7K, he has 3K in his hand. Exactly the
The
one card in
casino
the end.
wins again.
The casino, the house always wins, unfortunately. Finds the trigger, the first draw off of leader effect, not what he needed, but was able to manage to find the 2K, which 2 games in a row, the last life, becoming a
Ugh.
2K ended up mattering.
You hate to see it. Unless you root for Boa, in which case you love to see it.
If you're a BOA player, you love to see it, but fortunately, in the end, the trigger coming out, I think possibly one of the only triggers that actually could have saved you because that next card was a
Yeah.
brick. The other card that would have helped you would have been the I don't know. I think the other case is just to get another 2K because you'd rather just get that to hand instead of playing out something like Shakuyaku. But in
Mm.
the end, yeah, is just going to play down a character to replace it to get a bunch of rested dong, to then use the Gorgon Sisters, flexing that he knows exactly how the game mechanics works.
Mm.
Attaches 5 dong onto his characters, swings 8K into the opponent's leader, with only 2 cards left in hand now and 1 life. This game is going to be going to Hancock as she moves into the top 4.
Wow. Absolutely no Sanji puddings. I think even one Sanji pudding at any point in that game
Yeah.
would have probably done it, to be honest.
I mean, he just needed 1,000 more counter in the end, so... Or 1,000 more damage in the end. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to find it. I do think that Boa was disrespecting the potential of Luffy in the end a little bit, expecting the opponent to not be able to go for lethal, not leaving up any dong, even for the counter events that were already in her hand, let alone the cards that she ended up drawing. So, ended up being very scary, but in the end does find it.
Never punished.
Yeah, never punished.
What are your predictions for the rest of top 4?
Okay, so we have a Hancock. There were 3 Hancocks, there were 2 Aces, 1 GP, and 1 Purple Doflamingo. Fortunately,
Yep.
GP Luffy not going to be making it. Purple Doflamingo... I mean, I think right now, really, it's like... who's going to be hitting Ace? Because I think that Boa has a better time into Ace than a deck like Purple Doflamingo does.
Yes.
But
Oh,
if by some miracle... some Western cards, but if the Purple Doflamingo players can dodge the aces, then I think that Doflamingo is probably in a relatively good spot for this tournament. But we'll have to see what ends up happening in the end.
What do we
Yeah.
think of this new Bonnie leader?
Ooh. I mean, so 9 cost Bonnie, very strong card, you know, make the opponent take 1 life and then rush, very good,
Yep.
you know. Effectively feels like double attack, but the double attack is split up. Um,
Mm.
but being able to follow that up with 10 cost Roger,
Disgusting.
disgusting. Because the opponent doesn't have any control over if they starve you or not. You just use your leader effect to grab your life, play Roger, and then whoop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Important note is the -1 and the life taking different effects, and they are optional. Well, they're not different effects, but the life take is optional. The
Yeah.
-1k is
Camera
whatever you
died.
want.
1 second, guys.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, I bought a dummy battery, but it ended up being the wrong size, so I had to return. Now I have to go find um another one. So fortunately, we do still
tragic.
have these intermissions where you just hear my voice. Fix battery issue. At least it's like
Couldn't be me. I simply have a Type C cord, so sounds like a skill issue to me.
I bought an old model of my camera, unfortunately, by accident, so I can't charge it at the same time that I'm using it. Yeah, I like this card though. Chaka and Pell. It's an
Yeah,
8
it looks
cost
good.
9,000 double attack. And then it gives you 2 cards essentially. It's basically just like a new version of Draw Kaido, but it's searchable within the VV deck.
This issue
Mm-mm.
is interesting. Blue having power minus. Again, I think you had a video recently talking about color identity. I don't know, something to note. And also, obviously, this is for Kuzan with the trashing 2 from hand.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be enough for Kuzan to really find a place anywhere, to be honest. But,
That's too bad. I do think that the on-play effect is pretty crazy, because effectively in Kuzang it is free. It's just trash 2, draw 2, and the opponent has to get rid of 2 cards because, I mean, the opponent only needs to have 6 or more cards in their hand, which is bound to happen. Like, 6
yes.
cards in this economy is just very, very low. So the opponent losing 2 of those cards on a vanilla stat line, although this doesn't have protection like some of the new OP14 cards that we've gotten, just a really powerful on-play effect that, honestly, I think makes up for the fact that it probably doesn't stick on the board.
Sure.
Yeah.
A couple people saying in chat pointing out that Bonnie can't take the last life. That's correct. She can only take down to 1. She can't take the last life, but
Yeah.
you still kind of have on-demand Roger with the amount of life burn that Yellow has access to that you just don't have access to in any other deck.
Yeah, there's like the main thing is that by taking your own life, you disincentivize the opponent from starving you out, and just forcing the opponent to have to like come into you with the fact that you have the powerful egghead cards at your disposal. I think there's a lot of interesting things you could do with Bonnie. I don't know if it's going to be end up being strong. Either way, red and yellow are not really colors that I enjoy. Is this a new card?
Neither. I think it is.
Yeah, 4 costs 4,000. Oh, sorry, I'll read it for you guys. Sorry, I'm just
Yep.
reading in Japanese. 4 costs 4,000 plus 1,000 counter Sanji, Egghead, Straw Hats. This is all things that we know. On attack, okay, so on attack, this character's base power becomes the same power as the opponent's leader. And then on KO, if you have 2 or less life, then play a power 6,000 or less yellow character from your hand. So it's basically 4 cost 5,000 or 4 cost 6,000 against Ace, and on KO summons something even bigger than him. And also doesn't have a restriction that it can't be Sanji, so you can just play the same thing again. So just more of these annoying on KO effects. Ooh. Borisarino.
Blocker.
Yeah, this is 5 cost 6,000 plus 1,000 counter Borisarino, which is Egghead and Navy, blocker, and on play. If you have 2 or less life, add 1 life.
My god.
Oh my god, man. It's there's no condition except for just have 2 or less life. So Vegapunk buffs. Woo! This is actually a huge Vegapunk buff.
That is a huge Vegapunk buff.
Oh, and this is Egghead. Wait, Vegapunk, I'm sorry to even ask this, but Vegapunk can just play any Egghead, right? It doesn't have to be like So you can
You
play
got
this off
John
your leader
Vegapunk, I
fetch.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm John Vegapunk. I literally was looking at the leader yesterday.
This
Let
does
me
seem
pick up
pretty good.
my. This seems crazy good in Vegapunk. I don't know if it's enough to actually make Vegapunk good, but um,
Great
5
in
cost
Bonnie.
6,000 blocker that heals 1 life.
Green can never.
Yeah, actually, it's a sick Vegapunk card. What do you guys think about power creep in this game? Is it a bit too much? Do you enjoy the relative power level of this game coming up? It's a bit of a tricky topic because I've generally been against it, but I do think that a lot of the effects that they're printing are very cool.
A lot of the effects are pretty cool.
Mhm.
I know, at least locally, a lot of people have been dropping the game this set, or at least taking a break from it, because locals that were used to be 20, 30 people have gone down to about 8.
Mm.
So it's a lot of people are definitely complaining about the meta and the kind of power creep and how none of their favorite decks are viable, which I understand absolutely.
Mhm.
But I feel like at some point it does have to happen, something like this, just to keep the game fresh,
Yeah.
which is kind of something that rotation was already going to do, but that's still a while away.
Mhm. Yeah. For sure. Thank you, McKellen, for the €2. Why is yellow and boa, or why so much yellow and boa hate? I don't hate yellow. I hate boa. I'm a big
I
fan
hate
of
yellow.
yellow. I love Vegapunk. NL, I also think is a pretty cool leader. As time passes, he's kind of like wine, where like you kind of reminisce on the times where like you just simpler times where NL was the biggest problem in the game. I don't hate yellow. It's just boa's very awkward to fight against.
Yeah, I've never liked yellow as a color in the game. Just this was especially or more so when Katakuri was a thing, where it really felt like you were being punished for trying to win the game, which was not very fun.
Mm,
And especially back in OP3, OP4, when people just generally the skill level was a lot lower, and like the
mm,
concept of not swinging was relatively new, and it's definitely very much like it definitely kills newer players or less experienced players, and
yeah.
can feel very unfair, especially when that last life zero cost event into beige or whatever garbage happens
Mm,
at a regular basis in yellow.
for sure. Yeah, but hey, you yellow players who've been bullied for playing yellow, you now have a new home in OP14, and that is Purple Doflamingo. Purple Doflamingo does play a lot like NL for you NL players.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, you redirected attack, so you just have insane defense. Your
Mm.
characters aren't as big, but like you play like 1 to 2 like solid mid-sized bodies per turn. You just can't be killed, and then you just slowly push over the opponent with the attacks that you have. It feels very reminiscent of NL to me. But yeah, sorry, I'm missing a couple of questions in chat. I saw someone asking about Red Black Sabo. I don't actually know Sabo's matchup spread that well. I think it had a decent OP13 matchup spread, but the fact that it was making top cut in OP13 and not making top cut now makes me think that some of the new OP14 matchups are somewhat more difficult. But again, I just don't have enough knowledge on that deck to actually be able to comment on exactly what matchup that would be.
I can't comment either, to be honest. I'm mostly an EMU player. I do see it fairly often at these store treasure cups and locals and whatnot, but it doesn't perform ever,
Mm,
to be honest.
yeah.
I think it's a mix of a pretty bad EMU matchup if the EMU knows what they're doing, um, and a very terrible Zoro matchup. At least in
Mm,
OP13. Not sure about the new set.
mhm. Yeah. Hold on. Someone's asking about uh Blue Purple Luffy OP13. So
Oh,
I
I
haven't been
haven't
able to
tried EMU.
play too much Blue Purple Luffy, but I know that Noel has, so I'll redirect you to his deck list. Um this what you end up playing? I know at some point, maybe this is OP14. Well, I mean, here's a deck list from Noel. This is the sort of like standard feeling deck list. Pudding's maybe a little bit less common, but like things like Otama to just cycle your hand helps you unbrick early game. Just the standard ramp. Some people run 7 cost Mom. It's a bit less common. I do like the card though. And then generally you're just going to be playing essentially 8 targets off of the 9-cost Sanji in the 9-cost Luffy as well as 8-cost Roger, just to be able to slow down or speed up the game depending on what you've been given in your top 5. Generally, standard list is going to work for you. There are some tech cards that you can put in, like the Bullet to make the EMA matchup better, because that is one of your more difficult matchups. And in OP14, because that's not as far away as I think it feels, there are things like 9-cost Mihawk that has been a lot more relevant recently because things like the 7-cost Shanks have been a lot more popular. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that 7-cost Mom is. I don't think I've seen that.
It's EB03. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I guess that's true. West doesn't have EB03, so you would probably just substitute that for another mid-game card or ramp card, depending on exactly what you need. But it's a 7-cost 7000 on play, draw 1 card, and put 1 card to the top of your deck, and then ramp a Dong active. So effectively, you go second, you play it on your 3rd turn after you ramped once to 7, you ramp to 8, as well as set up for your top 5. So very nice card when you're going second.
Yeah, it seems good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And it has 1k counter, so it doesn't get stuck in your hand either.
Very good. Notice they're printing a lot more cards that have pretty strong effects with counter, whereas they definitely would have had bricks in earlier sets. Yeah, again with EBO3, not having EBO3 for a while still in the West is pretty frustrating. Well, not frustrating, but it just certainly limits a lot of the deck choices you can bring. Like that blue-yellow Nami, which we are finally getting Chojo, or Girl, that promo.
Yeah, Girl.
Girl in English. Which is the pre-release promo for OP14 EV. So it's interesting we're finally getting it, but we won't have that EBO3 Nami either.
I forgot the Big Mom from EB03 has another effect on KO -1 Dong and gain 1 life, which is very good. Forgot about that part. But yeah, the first part of the effect's very solid within Blue Purple Luffy. Oh my god.
That's
not
sorry. What you want to see.
Yeah, we have 3 Hancock and 1 Ace left in the top 4. So I pull up my tier list that I made a couple of maybe like a week ago or something, where I put Hancock in S tier, and a lot of my friends especially were like, I don't know about that. It's nice. Second. Yeah, this is a little bit rough around the edges, but in my opinion, top 3 decks are Hancock, Ace, and Ima. I think that Hancock's just very oppressive. It does have that sort of reminiscent yellow feeling where it's very tricky to know when you're supposed to hit into life or not. But yeah, still Hancock doing very well today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that we have 3 Hancocks in the top 4, I'm curious, who does chat want to win?
Not sure who I even want to win, because I don't really like either of these decks. I'll vote for Ace. Why not?
We'll see. Yeah. Oh, it looks like the poll has started to equalize a bit. I think at the start of the stream, a lot of people were more excited for the OP14 leader, but now that there's a lot of Hancocks and people saw some of the bullshittery that Hancock is allowed to do, maybe not as many people favoring Hancock. It's very close.
People love an underdog, and it feels weird to say Ace is an underdog in this situation, but it is.
Yeah, and we will see this come to fruition right now. Ace versus Hancock. If Ace wins, then we're going to have the exact same matchup. If Hancock wins, we are going to have a Hancock mirror for the finals, because the other top 4 match is going to be a Hancock mirror. Yeah, this is going to be Hancock going first in this matchup. I don't actually know which side you would prefer to take, fortunately, because I only play Ima.
Yeah, I imagine Ace still wants to go second.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Uh,
do think yeah, ace just generally prefers to go second as a whole if you
hmm.
have the choice to. At least like if you don't really know which side to take, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Both these decks do have some pretty scary cards that can come down on curve.
Hmm. It's very true. Did Ace get any new buffs from EBO3? OP14? Don't
EB03
recall
OP14,
EBO3.
no.
Yeah.
Technically, there were some cards. I think there's like a new 3 cost Vista or something. I don't remember exactly if it was Vista, but that card's not very good. So the deck list has not changed, at least in terms of new cards, but people have changed the contents of the deck based on the new meta, teching in more things like Red Rock now. Red Rock being able to deal with the opponent's 9 cost Mihawk, 7 cost Shanks, 9 cost Hancock. These sorts of cards means that Ace more and more commonly has been running uh, 3 to even 4 copies of Red Rock recently.
Oh,
Otherwise, the deck has not changed.
okay. That's interesting. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Shanks matters a whole lot against
Mm.
Ace, I imagine. Because all the bodies are so
Yeah.
big anyway.
Yeah. There's like the main like it's not worth actually Red Rocking, to be fair. But it is just a 9,000 power stat line, which is quite annoying to deal with.
Hmm.
So
That's fair.
not necessarily something that you're like eager to Red Rock, but just there are a lot of big bodies that are susceptible to removal in this meta currently. Does make the EMA matchup weaker though, so that is something to consider. Which is
Yes.
why I still think that EMA is still very good. And doesn't seem like the hand you really want to have as Hancock, but you know, nothing that a good trigger won't fix. Ooh. Ace on the other hand though, not a
Not
bad
bad
hand.
at all.
Yeah, I think I mean, I do believe that he's going second, if I remember correctly. So
Yes.
if he manages to find a 4 cost next turn, then he'll feel pretty comfortable. He would have preferred to have this when he's going first, unfortunately, but does have
Hmm.
the means of finding something good to play on curve. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, he still also has to find that event and a 10 beard, which, I mean, for Ace isn't a huge deal,
Mm.
but it can happen. And whoa, we're seeing round table. That's a throwback.
Ooh, whoa,
That's
that's a
very
card.
interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that's a card. That's like um basically Red Rock but cheaper. This
A
is
little bit.
feels like we're weirdly in some like liminal space of OP14 plus OP01 where we have
Yeah,
Sables in the Hancock player's hand and Round Table in the Ace player's hand.
very interesting. And this is what I'll miss when rotation happens, finding these really
Yeah.
unique kind of tech cards
Mm,
that you can't really find otherwise.
yeah. So fortunately, Ace is probably going to have to come down to a top deck. Does have a couple of options if Hancock goes for this leader. Does swing 8k into later, which means that he's going to get 2 draws plus his draw for turn. 3 cards total to find that 4 cost. Sees the
Outsane that.
Otama, sees the Yamato, has 1 more draw. Does he find it?
I couldn't tell what that was.
I have no idea either.
It was an Izo. Does not find
Diesel
it.
does not find in the end, unfortunately.
That's rough.
So isn't going to have the cards he needs quite yet. Doesn't even have the 8 cost event nor the 10 cost Whitebeard quite yet. Decides not to use the 1 cost Easel effect either to help dig for that 4
Hmm.
cost. So just keeps that on the board. And now is just going to have to dig through the deck really hard. Thankfully, though, that Otama can come down on this turn to just start to filter through your deck to find some of these pieces. He does find one of them in that 8 cost event. And with that Josen next turn, he will be able to return some of the cards that he has played down onto the board as well. So potential reason for why he decided to leave that. But I do think that he's probably just end up playing Otama anyways. So I wouldn't have minded him just using that Easel effect the turn before.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Trashing the round table, very sad. Would have liked to see that.
Unfortunate, but yeah, not something you really need in this matchup because Hancock's effect triggers based on base power rather than current power.
Uh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, my Nasuda would have went crazy.
I do wonder
Yeah,
what that's for, though.
but yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Despite all of the hate crimes that Hancock has been committing, though, Hancock has won the poll, though, at 59%. People still want Hancock to win. So, I mean, I think people have a lot of fatigue from OB13, though, so we just do want to
Yeah.
see something new win in the end. So I don't blame anyone for voting either way. Hancock, though, not playing a 5 cost, swinging into leader once again. Not afraid of
Wow.
the Dong on Ace's leader. 10k into leader, and Ace really has to think about this because there is the threat of pudding. Yeah, and counters it out.
It's also potentially scared of that perfume. Something to
Yeah.
note.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't. I mean, because Ace with his leader effect as well as just the insane amount of cards that he can actually
Yeah.
have, you can somewhat realistically defend at least one massive hit with
Yes.
perfume. But if the opponent puddings you, then you just lose all the progress. So I think that pudding is the card that you're much more afraid of in this early game. And Hancock is a deck that 7 long turn, there isn't too much to do aside from things like Kuma. So the next best option sometimes is to just destroy the opponent's hand with pudding and just attach a couple of Dong to your leader and rely on some of those triggers to come out. Yeah. Still, Ace, unfortunately not getting that 4 cost on the board, but is able to play Joseph to replenish his hand. Still at 8 cards despite countering 3 the turn before to defend against that 10,000 leader attack. This is semifinals, Jojo.
Interesting to see no characters at all so far from Boa. But it
Mm.
doesn't look like they had much to play.
Yeah.
I think most of the triggers...
Thank you, McKellen. I love Hancock now.
You're a cheap man.
But yeah, this is the response to Jilza now, though. The 6-cost Rayleigh, if your leader is dual-colored and the opponent has 3 or less life, which against Ace is always, then you can KO one of the opponent's characters with 7,000 power or less. So a very quick and easy way to get rid of that Jilza. And now both of these players' boards have been effectively reset, somehow Boa being on top.
Very interesting. I think a lot of the Boa's triggers are 5,000 power only, though, which means they do have to attach Don in order to swing into that leader, unless of course, that Gorgon Sisters.
Yeah, I mean, just trigger Gorgon Sisters, what?
Yeah, of course. just trigger.
Oh, it's going to be Margaret, the trigger that saved Kaku the game before. But once again, getting this card out of trigger is really nice, though, because it is not only drawing a card, but also searches, although you do have to trash one card after that. Just being able to filter through your deck, look for one of these Kuja Pirates.
Grabbing... Well, yeah. The 4-cost Boa.
Yeah.
Rearranging the top 3 is always nice.
Yeah, and this card, especially in this deck, because it's a blocker, forces the opponent to take one of their life when you end up blocking with it, triggering the Boa Hancock leader effect. It just works really well with this leader, making it very annoying to deal with if you can manage to find a timing to play it. But, I mean, past the early turns, it sometimes can be a little bit difficult to actually get that timing to actually play it down as the characters that you want to play get bigger and bigger.
Ace, still not seeing a 10-beard. Or any sort of new gate.
Did also cut the 8-cost event for his leader effect the turn before. So, I mean, maybe not even deciding that he wants to go for that option. 2 8-cost events in trash, none in hand, and on this turn, he's just going to end up playing that Juzza again. Oh, this feels like Doflamingo Gaming. Decides not to bounce back the Rayleigh, though, because unlike Doflamingo mirrors, where you can just keep Joseing each other back, Rayleigh does just straight up answer Jose, where Jose can't realistically answer Rayleigh as well, because it is in fact KO versus bounce. There's a couple of good counters to Boa, because like you can still bounce, you can still bottom, you can still trash. So there's a couple of good ways, you just can't KO the characters. So as we saw, that Jose being able to get rid of this Margaret is, although, you know, Hancock's hand is very big now, not going to be a relevant attacker on the board, with this Rayleigh being the only threat currently. And that Rayleigh, because it's not a Kuja or Amazon Lily character, isn't actually going to proc the leader effect either. So just these small things are going to be relevant over the course of the game, because Hancock elected to, I don't remember if it was on their own volition or not, hit 10k on that 5-dong turn. I do think, though, probably looking at their hand, that they didn't really have another good option, so it may have been the only choice at their disposal. Yeah.
I do wonder about Ace's plan from this point onwards. Like, it probably is still better to try and find those 10 costs. Try and make use of those blockers and the draw power.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is kind of just playing mid-game units that don't really do a whole lot other than Jozu.
Yeah, but I mean, although Ace didn't find that 8-cost event, which seems so powerful, Hancock as well didn't find the 9-cost Hancock, finding it now off of that
There it is.
single searcher. Yeah.
Mm.
Picks it up
Sounds
to be
good.
played in the next turn most likely, but unfortunately won't be able to play that on this turn, which definitely would have been the best play. Instead, decides to play down that Boa, which we did see the turn before.
Seeing another 9-cost Boa.
Yeah. This is the
That
third
is
one, I believe, that we've seen just on this turn alone. So
well.
can decide if he wants to pick that up.
Putting it at the bottom, I believe.
I think, yeah, you probably leave this on top. I think that the game will probably end up going to a point where you play down 2 bows. You send that to the bottom, then you're in a position where you just need to find that last one or break through with the power that you have on board. The 9-cost boa just played back-to-back is much more guaranteed, especially because Ace not playing down that 10-cost Newgate is signaling that the game's going to be a lot slower. And, I don't love Ace's position right now, though. The Sable's coming down as well.
Yeah, it's looking rough.
Oh, really, really good position right now. And actually, this 4-cost Hancock, don't know if it's going to block on this turn, but whenever it does decide to block, is going to force Ace to grab one of those life cards.
Does that proc the leader effect? I don't believe it does, right?
It does.
From
Yeah,
Ace?
because
It does. Oh, because you receive damage.
oh, no, sorry. I thought you meant the Boa Hancock
Oh,
leader
no, no.
effect. No. It wouldn't proc the Ace effect because the opponent just takes one of their life to their hand, unfortunately. Also, it's on your turn. I think that was a stipulation. But yeah, wow, my god, this really feels like we're just seeing a blue mirror. But yeah, just keep continuously bouncing each other's characters. The Atmos switches, notoriously a card that really only seems good in the Ace mirror, being very helpful right now to get rid of that card. Not going to proc the leader effect as well, so staying healthy, 2 life, still to his name. Fortunately though, no Newgates.
Yeah, despite a lot of searches too, I think 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Which can happen with Ace a surprising amount of times, where despite drawing so many cards, they just don't see the pieces.
Yeah, you definitely would have wanted to see something like the 10-cost Newgate, I would imagine. But, I mean, at the very least, is able to respond to Hancock's board quite well in a way that a lot of other decks can't due to having that blue element in his kit. Raining Dong, Yamato just going to spread out board, draw 2 cards, potentially find 10-cost Newgate. Still doesn't find it though. Still just going to be playing small characters, but I mean, so far it's been working out, and Ace is a deck that has a lot of resources. Yeah. Yeah, and this attack into Rayleigh, because of the way that Hancock's leader effect works, is going to be something that she will want to defend. Not really something that she's happy to get rid of quite yet, especially with how small her board is. So, still though, both players relatively cheap, or not cheap, big hand despite defending a lot of these attacks early on. Going to go for the instant 6 scan to the opponent's leader.
Quick one.
Yeah.
About a 6. Then this 9-cost Boa coming down, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you'd imagine. I think that's probably the only relevant play. And because he has that next 9-cost Boa lined up in the top 3, which I wonder how judges feel about this, where you leave your reordered cards slightly off-center, so you know exactly which ones were reordered.
That's a
It's a
good
bit
point.
weird, yeah. But still, has been able to manipulate the top 3 and also decide what he places into his life. I unfortunately don't remember what that life was. I know the first one was 0-cost event, which he drew. The third one was 9-cost Boa, I believe, but I don't remember what the second card was, if anyone in chat can remind me. But still, has been able to plant a trigger now with that 4-cost Hancock effect from the turn before.
I didn't even think about that. It's a very interesting use of that 4-cost Boa.
Yeah. Six-cost Rayleigh. Oh,
Struggling.
man. 6-cost Rayleigh's trigger is very powerful. Activates the on-play effect, so we'll be able to get rid of one of the characters on the board if Ace messes up the sequencing. Thankfully, though, goes into the Rayleigh first.
I'm really not seeing a way out for Ace here.
Mm. Well, I
Unfortunately.
mean, well, you have the 1 cost Otama that you just draw immediately into the 8 cost event and 10 cost negate.
Of course.
I mean, to be fair though, like Hancock's board is still relatively small right now. I think that at least
Yeah.
temporarily, you can yeah, just red
Red
rock
Rock.
and then with the remaining 4 dong play something like that 4 cost Marco, I believe. Um, the unfortunate thing is if the opponent has another 9 cost Hancock, then things can start to get a bit scary. But I do think it's Cavendish, my bad, not Marco. Oh no, he does have Marco too. So decides to go for the Cavendish instead, electing
Okay.
that the on-attack effect is going to be more relevant than actually having a blocker on the board, which may end up being the correct decision depending on if Hancock has that perfume or not, but you have to assume that she does.
Absolutely. It's not even another top 3.
Mhm. Yeah. The person on the left side of your screen is just one of my friends, who's Australian, but that means it's much easier for
Alright,
my
mate.
time zone. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Hancock,
me.
once again, just repeating the actions over and over again because he already knows. Oh, sorry. Um,
My name is not Norm. Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Um, he has a couple of options. Yeah, just ends up playing the Cavendish or KOing the Cavendish with the Rayleigh instead of healing the life.
And for 2Ks. Hey, what's up, Kyo?
Oh my god, did we got a? This is my god. We got a top 8 match where Green Purple Luffy never saw Sanji Pudding, and then now we have Ace that just 10 costs don't exist.
Looking rough.
Yeah, and uh, Hancock, not necessarily like in a extremely aggressive deck like a deck like Jinbei, Doflamingo, Rayleigh tend to be, but have this sort of inevitability just due to the fact that it's very tricky to get rid of the opponent's board, even if you are bouncing it like you do with this Joza, just constantly getting rid of these cards that would proc Hancock's leader effect. But in the end, if the opponent just gets you down to 0, then it just is 1 to 2 attacks away from ending the game.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I say hopefully, but I believe this game will be ending within the next few
Oh.
turns. Ooh, okay.
Oh, I see. It was
Ace using
the
Pixel Happy.
9 cost Hancock that he planted into his life. That was my bad. Yeah, goes for the life. First one decides not to trigger out, but Rung is going to come out, meaning that he gets the draw of his leader effect, and now, importantly, has a relevant attacker on this next turn. The activate main as well, being able to attach a Residong is relevant when the opponent's leader is 6k power.
Highly relevant.
Yeah.
Just right now, going to 0
Yeah.
life. Bella going back up to 3.
Yeah. And Rung is going to be able to hit or attach a dong to leader to hit for 6k. Has another dong up that he can hit attach onto that dong to hit for 6k once again. Can also choose to leave up just to have the 1 cost slave arrow available. I don't know if you necessarily need to right now. Ace's potential for damage isn't that threatening right now.
Yeah, I don't think. Even if Ace gets to play another 1 or 2 turns, I don't think it's possible. But it doesn't seem like that'll even happen.
Yeah. Yeah, decides that there is no threat on the board right now. Attaches the last dong onto Rung. Hits for 6k. And Ace forced to cut that Otama. What's the top gonna be? There's
The
the 10
first
cost
10
Newgate.
gate.
Better late than never. Unfortunately, though, with only 4 cards left in hand and 0 life, Hancock does have that Perfume Femur in hand. So, try as he may, he just doesn't really have the options right now to be able to handle what's coming next turn.
Very unfortunate from the Ace side. Just overall this whole game.
Yeah, a little bit too little too late, but we'll at least watch it until the end, because at least from Ace's perspective, this isn't over. If the opponent doesn't have Perfume, then he does still have a way into this game, however far it may be.
It is interesting that he has left these both Izos on the field instead of using the effects to dig, perhaps as
Yeah.
jersey targets.
Yeah, they've kind of just, like, been a part of the board. I haven't even really noticed them at this point.
Mm.
That's interesting. I guess, like, so they are Jilza targets, that is something,
Yeah.
but you only need one in the end. I guess,
Yes.
I mean, you can maybe play around the 6 cost Hancock that bottoms a 1 cost, but then you'd prefer to just use the effect earlier on. So, a couple of things there, just not using the Easel effect, and instead, although he does find the 10 cost Newgate now, decides not to use it because he knows that if the opponent has that perfume, then the game is surely over. Is likely just going to. I mean, it's 2k, 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 and then technically your leader effect has another 2k. You can manage to get rid of the opponent's board and then red rock the 9 cost Hancock. Do you even have enough at that point? I still don't think you have enough.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, because the opponent doesn't even need perfume at that point because you're not playing the 10 cost Newgate. But you just hit for 15. The opponent only has 8k counter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is going to take that first Kuja type character. Ace playing very well against Hancock's leader effect, but
Mm.
I mean, in the end,
Too little, too
the
late.
inevitable, the queen, Boa Hancock is going to be moving on to the finals.
And there we go.
Yep, very simple, lethal in the end. 15,000 leader is going to make it through, guaranteed. As we now have a Boa mirror in the finals.
I'm sure that'll be fun to watch.
It'll be interesting, I think. Yeah, for sure. I think we've seen so much casinoing, and the house has won continuously. Now we have to see what happens when the house
Yes.
is against itself.
Mm. It will be very interesting, although I will not be able to watch it because I do have to shoot off now
Okay,
for a little bit.
sounds
So
good.
I will leave you with this thrilling match.
Okay,
And
I will
perhaps
try
I'll
my
see you later.
best. Yeah,
Alright.
who do you think's gonna win?
I've got a sneaking suspicion it might be Boa,
Mm,
but
yeah.
hard to
Well,
tell.
we'll see in the end. Yeah, I'll let you know in a couple hours when that game
Yeah.
finishes. Thank you
Absolutely.
for hopping on.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, shout out to you. Don't I get if you want to shout out anything, you have the opportunity
Um,
to.
I kind of got nothing right now, to be honest. I do have a Twitter. I do not post, so I will shout it out at CannedSoupOP. I'll type it out in the chat
Oh yeah.
if you would like. I was planning on posting my regional results, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's all from me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you then. Thank you for coming
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Bye
Thanks for having me.
bye.
See you, chat.
Yeah, so now that he's gone, we can talk about what happened at his regionals today. I think that he ended up going 1-2 with Ima because he hit 2 Zoros, and one of the Zoros had perfect curve. The other Zoro had trigger electrical Luna, which made him lose his lethal, which is crazy. Who runs Electro Luna in Zoro? But yeah, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it in the end due to some happenstances. But yeah, I mean, now that he's gone, we can talk about some of those things. It's a bit quiet now, isn't it? The top 8 was 3 Hancocks, 2 Aces, 1 Doflamingo, something. I don't remember at this point, sorry. But the top 4, more relevantly, is 3 Hancocks, 1 Ace, and now we know is going to be 2 Hancocks in the finals. So Hancock, best deck in format, I guess. Yeah, there were no emo in Top Cut today. I don't know exactly what happened, because I really think that deck is like insanely good. But unfortunately, no emo in Top Cut today, and Boa's just been rampant this time, running through every single leader. I think since top 8, there's been 3, and all 3 of them have only lost to the mirror. So we'll see what ends up winning. Is it going to be Boa or is it going to be Boa? Mihawk's not dead. I think Mihawk has a decent matchup into Ace as well as Ima, so that can vary based on the opponent's play skill as well as your Mihawk list. But he does tend to struggle against some of these other leaders. I don't know too much about the Hancock matchup, but the Purple the Flamingo matchup is rather difficult. So as Purple the Flamingo and Green Bonnie's player, it has been coming up a little bit. For example, Mihawk's player has been coming down. I think it was the most represented at the Tokyo Championship, and at this championship, it was number 3 after Ace and Ima. Still, though, despite Ace and Ima still being the top decks, we have neither in finals, as we do have a pretty interesting top 16. Life burn, good, yeah. But, I mean, they've adapted it. Now it's no longer life burn, it's life to hand. But that's still very powerful when you're a leader that has a 20,000 unblockable attack whenever you feel like it. Thank you, Eagle Danger, for typing out top 8. Appreciate it. Yeah, there were a couple of reveals this stream. There was a very good Porcelino card, which is insane in Vegapunk. I don't know if it's enough to actually save that deck, but that card's crazy. This 3-on-3 limited battle thing. I wish I could be a part of it. It's unfortunately a timing that I'm busy, so I couldn't actually go to the event. But Japan recently has been having some more interesting things. They had the Heroines Cup, where you can only play girl leaders for the most part. And limited battle is that you just can't play the... Oh yeah, you can't play these leaders. Interesting. I think before they said 10, but now it's 11. So all of these leaders are banned because their play rate is too high, so now it's like... Go play... It's too bad that Sabo's in here, because Sabo would have been a pretty decent pick. But like, I think Blue Purple Sanji's pretty good. Ooh, Roger's also banned. Roger would have also been pretty decent in that format. Rebecca's maybe not bad, because removal's a bit more relevant with Ima gone, but you know, there's Lucci as well. But I mean, there's a lot of more interesting things, but it may just end up reverting to some older meta stuff, because I mean, Green Purple Luffy as well is not in here, so... You know, there's a couple of things. Crocodile is also a pretty solid deck. Yeah, Vivi's not restricted. This is all just based on play rate. It's not like they chose the 10 or 11 strongest leaders. This is just the 11 most played leaders, I believe, from the last championship, which is what they ended up banning for the limited battle. What's this? Kyo. Oh, that's fun. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot that you guys can't read this. This is like who has the best One Piece card game team company? You know, it's like collegiate One Piece, except it's company One Piece. So you have like, at least if my industry, if I were to get people from my job to play this with me, then I'd have to get a bunch of people who also do like architecture and interior design, which would be fun. But unfortunately, I know that no one at my office would do that with me. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that have been going on recently in Japan, but I haven't been able to go to them. Just I've been busy, I haven't been Tokyo, or I haven't been able to get in because they are all lottery. Oh yeah, Rayleigh's also pretty good. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a lot of very solid decks that can come out because, you know, Rayleigh would be good, but also like removal being unleashed on the world is also another thing you have to consider. You know, you have the likes of Lucci, potentially Sakazuki, Rebecca, whatnot coming back. Like, some interesting things. Black Yellow Moria, I like the deck a lot. I think it's a good deck. The thing is, the Thriller Bark package is pretty generic. You can use it in a lot of decks, so it's hard to say for sure if the Thriller Bark package is best in Moria. You can KO your own stuff, like you could KO your own Hogback and whatnot, but there are some things that can be a little bit awkward for that deck, just because you don't get too much aside from that. So you are kind of playing trigger to trigger, and if the opponent doesn't hit you, then yes, you do have 8-cost Moria, yes, you do have 9-cost Hancock, but it's not like not like blue-yellow Hancock where you can actually close out the game very easily. So it's a cool deck. I think it has a lot of potential. But the Thriller Bark package as a whole for yellow is a bigger buff. It's a bigger buff for yellow as a whole rather than making Moria good, if that makes sense. I don't know if any of that made sense, I'm sorry. But I like Thriller Bark. I don't know if Moria is the best leader. Like, for example, that new 6-life Luffy leader, you could potentially play Thriller Bark stuff in that leader. That would be fun. I mean, I don't know if they can, like, if they re-release Moria with restriction to Thriller Bark, I don't know how it'd really fit into the game anymore, because a 6-cost Moria exists now. In Perona, there's that event, which is effectively 8-cost Moria, which plays out the 6-cost Moria. Like, they've kind of got an 8-cost Moria back, just in a sort of, like, different flavor. And actually, 6-cost Moria is a lot better in the Moria deck. So, I mean, as long as it's restricted, you probably don't have too much issue with unbanning that card, but I'm not sure if you really need to anymore, because they've printed out so many different versions of it for different black leaders. But yeah, let's, for one last time, let's do a poll. Who wins? Okay, now this is just like rolling dice, but you know, fitting for a casino ending. Who's going to win? Right Hancock or left Hancock? I guess for you guys it'd be flipped. Okay, right Hancock off to a resounding lead, 64%. Right Hancock is the Hancock that we have seen on stream twice now, and the Hancock on the left is going to be the first time that we're seeing Hancock, or first time we're seeing this person on Hancock on stream. And not only that, I think that Kaku, the player on the right, is a historic Rebecca player, one of the earliest people to actually start winning on Rebecca, and is definitely used to the stream at this point, if he wasn't already. Okay. So I think instead of saying Hancock a million times, because not only is the leader Hancock, but also like half the characters in the deck are Hancock, I'm going to refer to the players by their name. We'll see what the player on the left's name is. The player on the right's name is Kaku. So remember, Kaku is right Hancock. And whatever else I say is going to be left Hancock. Okay, right Hancock is right Hancock. That's my bad, yeah. But, you know, I mean, this is the finals that we've been given, and ooh, my god, look at his Don cards. Like, we've seen it from the top down already looks bad, but looking at it from the side, like, this looks like it could be 40 cards. Okay, both starting hands don't actually seem that great, but there is Sarome in the left Hancock's list. Still, the Searcher for left Hancock is going to be something to do in the early game, whereas right Hancock doesn't necessarily have anything to do quite yet. It does have a lot of defense and triggers, nothing you really want to see while going first, meaning that that 4-cost Ball Hancock isn't going to help too much. Okay, here we go. It's Kaku versus Solo. Thankfully, English name, so it's a little bit less confusing in that. Kaku is going to pass back the first turn, while Solo does thankfully have a Searcher to hopefully get some of these resources going. Doesn't have a great hand right now, but if she can find a decent thing to play the next turn, maybe something, but unfortunately doesn't find it. Does find the Kuma instead. So, oh, no, actually, they do have the 4-cost Hancock in their hand, just kind of hidden behind some of these cards. So, does actually have a very solid curve going second. And Kaku, on the other hand, is once again not really going to be able to do too much on this first turn, just going to swing for 6k. The opponent going to defend it, but decides to take it, and there is no trigger. Very important. And we'll see if Solo is going to be able to respond with the same thing. is going to start with 5k into leader, and Kaku deciding if he wants to go for that trigger gamba. He's going for it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, thinking about it. It's a trigger. Here comes out Shakuyaku. Woo! I'm just pretending that I'm at the casino right now. But yeah, Shakuyaku coming out. With your leader effect, you draw one card, and then on play, if the opponent has 3 or less life, which thankfully they do, you get to draw 2 and trash 2. So effectively, with your leader effect, you get to draw 3 and trash 2, while also summoning a body. So very, very solid effect. Is hopefully going to be able to fix some of the issues that he has in his hand. Ooh. Okay, we're back. I was afraid that my stream crashed for a second. Some people like to bend their cards. I know that Yu-Gi-Oh has a thing where like the foil cards end up bending, so it's sometimes better to just bend all of the cards anyways, because he's placed some of them face down, but also just bending them makes it easier to grab them, so that's probably what he's doing here. So the Forecast Hancock going to come down on curve 4 solo, going to be able to reorder the top, and importantly, because he has that 6-cost Kuma lined up, he can actually choose what he's going to put into the top of his life if he plays that next turn. Seems like he may be going for that because I believe that was a dung on the second life that will be put into his life the turn after. So just decides to play down that Hancock, and now the ball back in Kaku's court. Fortunately, has a bit of a slower start because he will have to play this Hancock after the opponent has already played their first one. We'll see how this starts to develop. I can see this matchup potentially being relatively quick, depending on how it ends up going, because both players are attacking each other. They also have these Hancocks that are blockers as well. But Kaku, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to use it, but oh, he does! Yeah, the Sables is just going to be able to bounce back the opponent's character, meaning that there's no longer a blocker on the board, and therefore no way for Boa to activate that leader effect, and is just going to keep putting damage into the opponent's leader. Rang. Coming out of trigger, getting one draw. 6k attack into leader. I don't think you can pay. Oh, he's going for it though. He's going to take this life and doesn't get the trigger. Oh my god. Oh, it feels like we're in Vegas already. It's Bandai Card Fest. You getting casino ads on YouTube? I think that you're just watching the stream. Yeah, gets the dong out of trigger, but doesn't get any other card. Thankfully, though, with the 6-cost Kuma, we'll be able to force the trigger into life. But this is a very big hand for Hancock right now. Something that I'm sure the opponent also identifies. Okay, we're speedrunning this. I'm actually going to move my camera off to the side so you can see how fast this game may end up being. Because these players are both playing very quickly, and this doesn't seem like a matchup that lasts for all too long. Going to heal 1 life. We know that that's going to be a trigger character, and it's going to swing for 5 plus 6 thanks to that rung activate main effect. Okay, taking it. You got to trigger off the first one. He's thinking about the second one. He sees, oh, Slave Arrow, which is draw 2 and then put 2 to the bottom of your deck. So thinking if he really wants to cycle his hand right now. Decides not to, prioritizing just having the Slave Arrow in your hand over that, not triggering out a character, and not having one from the second life either. So both of these players from 3 life has only managed to trigger out 1 character. And in other news, seems like the poll has decided that right Hancock is to be victorious here. But we'll see how it ends up going. Because solo, the Hancock on the left, is in fact 9-0 first place in Swiss. So this is first versus third place. The second place was unfortunately the Jinbei that did end up falling at some point in Top Cut. Means we had a really good showing from new leaders today. Anybody what he wants to do? Boa players are so greedy with taking life. I do feel like you probably, in the mirror, do want to go for that, though. Like, if you can manage to trigger out more characters than the opponent, then I feel like that's a massive advantage. So I think that it's just one of those things, especially because the opponent, if you play down that 4-cost boa, you are, thanks to the leader effect, forced to take your life when it ends up dying from a block. Ooh, you will have to go down 0, but Hancock on the right, Kaku, decides to go for leader anyways. Or, sorry, for board, to go down to 0 already. This is the 7th long turn, but now down to 0 life, and Margaret, the trigger that was put into life from that 6-cost Kuma, is going to be played. Now with the 0 life left, things like that 9-cost Hancock are not going to be as relevant, but any ways of breaking through, whether it's the Perfume Femur or just a simple don't attachment to leader with the way that the board is right now, is going to be very relevant. Such a shiny, nice card. This card's so expensive in Japan. I'm sure it's going to be worse in English, but right now it's crazy expensive. I'm sure it only goes up now that there's 3 Hancock in top 4. Yeah, I think that both players are just playing on the assumption the opponent doesn't have pudding, for example. You can get the character onto the board, then your hand doesn't matter. Just get the attacks in. But yeah, I'll go soon. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of the things that you can do. We have some time because the Hancock players are thinking a lot about this position. You can take down to 0 very quickly so that you can actually deal with the opponent's board without the fear of the opponent actually, using their leader effect to get you down to 0. But the risk, of course, is if the opponent, plays pudding, if they play Perfume Femur and just kills you anyway, then ends up kind of not mattering. So it's one of those things where it feels very awkward to take out the board, but sometimes it is correct to. Kaku deciding now to take out the board, second attack going into life, the trigger Margaret coming out, but deciding what he wants to do with the 7 dong. He does have the Sengoku, he does have the Kuma, but what else may you be thinking about? There's also things like the 4-cost Hancock, which on block would guarantee the opponent has to go down to 0 life. But I don't see a Perfume Femur in his hand. Yeah, it doesn't have Perfume Femur. So really think about what he wants to do on this turn. Thankfully, though, I think he spent like 4 minutes on this turn, which means that we aren't going to get an any percent. Oops, sorry, grabbed the wrong thing. We aren't going to get an any percent speed run of the grand finals, though. He's going to play down the single, finally deciding what he wants to do. Thinking about the Kuma. Very good Warlord. Decides to pick it up. Did he choose the normal art over the alt art? Huge misplay there. Sorry, guys. If Bright Hancock ends up losing, that's going to be why. I may have just misread the cards because they look very similar. But picks up the Kuma, is going to play out the Hancock instead, though. So Kuma currently is just going to be 1k counter, plays out the Hancock, and basically is saying, you don't have Perfume, do you? With all due respect, he's kinda degen. I mean, it's a weirdly aggressive and polite way to put it. But unfortunately, despite the insane number of cards that Solo has, doesn't have Perfume quite yet. Maybe looking for it right now, doesn't see it. Looking at all these cards, but decides to pick up the Kuma in the end. Doesn't have the Perfume quite yet, and Kaku's very, very happy with this. Still, though, I don't think that... Man, Hancock mirrors are very complicated. Things with life gaining. Like, if you go down to 0, then you take out the opponent's board, and then you life heal, for example, is one of the ways that he could have played out that last turn to be able to avoid the opponent's Perfume Femur. So there's a lot of complicating things that are specific to this matchup, because you also have bouncing, you also have life gain because you're blue and yellow. So there's a lot of weird nuances to the mirror that I'm discovering as we play. But yeah, as chat is mentioning, the rarity diff right now is starting to expand. We'll see if it ends up becoming relevant in the end. 7k into, I believe, leader. I mean, I don't think there's any other target except for Shakuyaku. Decides to block, force the opponent down to 0 life. But once again, he doesn't have anything in his hand like Perfume, like Pudding. So if the opponent were to play down a 4-cost Hancock, for example, he would be relatively fine for the time being. Can respond with the 6-cost Kuma, though, as he did pick that up. Yeah. 5k into leader. I think he's trying to get the opponent to just attach all of his own and go for leader, but Solo, he's been there, done that. He's in the finals. He's 9-0 coming out of Swiss, so he's not going to take that bait. Decides to just go for the 6k, and the remaining 6 dong is going to play that Kuma to play out of that perfume range. Just make the opponent's lethal a little bit more awkward. And slowly but surely, Solo's board is getting bigger and bigger. And these Kumas are really awkward to take out. Although Kaku has been able to take out some of Boa's board on curve. Unfortunately, if you take out these Kumas, if it isn't by a means of something like Jozu or Sables like we saw that he had before, which he used on one of the earlier attacks in the 4-cost Hancock, then that Kuma is going to really stick to the board. But regardless, Kaku unfazed, just going to keep going for leader. Ooh. That's an interesting Hancock. It's just on play. It also has 1000 counter. I didn't know that. But on play just attaches a rested dong to... Is it just one? Yeah. A leader or a character. So, relatively small effect. Maybe indicating that he runs Marigold in his deck, but I'm not exactly sure. It's a card that you don't see very often. 6k into leader. 7 dong left. I mean, he seems like he's setting up to just play Kuma, but... Ooh, takes it. He does have the perfume in his hand now, though. Oh my god, and another Shakuyaku. There's so much damage on the board. But Kaku does have a lot of cards at his disposal. Does he find Pudding? I can't see. Doesn't seem like he has Pudding yet. Still no Pudding in either player's hand right now, so these massive hands are going completely unpunished right now. I wonder if there's been a development where people don't run Pudding anymore that I haven't gotten the memo on. But yeah. So the trigger, despite drawing 3 and trashing 2, isn't going to find that Pudding. And Kaku, while responding with the 6-cost Kuma to heal 1 life, there's a lot of damage on Solo's board currently. There's a really avid left Hancock fan in chat right now. We'll see right now, though. Solo seems to be in a very good position right now. 7k into leader first. There aren't too many triggers in Hancock's deck that can really save you. Yes, you do have things like Sarome that can come out, but Sarome isn't really a card that's run all too often, though we do see it in Solo's hand right now, so therefore he may have some of those options at his disposal. But probably not something you need to, or you should really be relying on. So think about how he can deal with this, with the current hand that he has. Oof. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that right now the stream has Slave Arrow on screen right now, but it's a little bit awkward because it bounces back a 2-cost or higher to your hand, which means that you can't actually get that single back, which means that you would have to return something like Shakuyaku to your hand, which yes is a 2k, which could probably be relevant while the opponent tries to go for lethal, but also means that you may have a little bit less damage for this next coming turn. Still, as the opponent does have the 1-cost phase event, I don't know what it's called in English, Warawa Koi, maybe that extra attack isn't actually relevant, so just getting the 2k back to hand is rather nice in this situation, just effectively a 1-cost plus 6,000 counter. Still, Solo going for the 7k at leader. Kaku really happy the opponent just doesn't have Pudding. And now deciding what he wants to do. There is the public information of this Shakuyaku, but he decides to take it, thinking about it. It's another Slave Arrow. So this trigger is draw 2 and then put 2 to the bottom of his deck. Doesn't have the dong to actually use this, so he has to think about if he actually needs the extra cards in his hand, but He has Perfume in his hand, he has a lot of 2Ks in his hand, yeah, he decides not to use the trigger and just place it in hand. And this also, because the opponent thought about it, indicates that this could potentially be a 2K. There are things like Shakaku, things like Gorgon Sisters, that are actually very relevant 2Ks that have good triggers. So think about if you actually want to play it, or if you just want to keep it as a 2K in your hand, could indicate to the opponent that you have more counter than you actually end up having. Am I making any sense anymore? I don't know. But Solo is a little bit afraid to really commit to going for lethal, going for the 5s because it doesn't commit quite yet. He can decide if he wants to go for the 15 now, but it may be a big bait. As Boas currently do not run Gravity Blade. I don't think, because the thing is, Hancock's play rate right now isn't that high, and Gravity Blade really sucks against Ace and Ima, so I don't think you really afford to run it. It just happens to be that this championship, Hancock has completely rocked the boat, which may mean that we get more Hancocks from now on, and maybe then more people are going to tech for the mirror, but currently it's hard to justify teching just for the mirror. But still, really think about what he wants to do, if he just wants to go for the big swing into leader, or if he wants to play out another turn. Yeah. Solo doesn't have any information on Kaka's hand, so is just going to attach 2 Dongan to leader, swing for 7k, and Hancock is going to be able to respond with the 0-cost event and the Slave Air that was picked up off of life, turning that into 1k counter effectively. And now with the remaining 8 Dong, what is he going to do? Yeah, decides to go for the safer play. Kuma, number 3 on the side of Solo, going back up 1 life. Just trying to make sure that no matter what, Kaku doesn't have lethal. This is very scary. We have full knowledge of both players' hands, but obviously these players don't. So there is the opportunity or the chance that the opponent has that last bit of counter, or they have that top tech pudding, for example, that you really have to consider. So Solo could have been afraid of a potential pudding and decided to go for a game the turn before and potentially would have even won. But deciding to go for the safer play, just putting down the Kuma, and is going to be rewarded because Kaku doesn't have the pudding. First, Wado Akwai going to make sure that Single cannot attack, and now has to deal with this 9k attack. 2k, 2k, 1k, and Kaku does not have... Oh yeah, Judge just putting a marker on there instead of flipping it upside down. Hancock does not have any more attacks on the board, and it's going to surrender. It's going to be left Hancock Solo winning the OSAKA Championship. Yay! And Hancock Gaming. Yeah, so from top 8, interestingly, Hancock only lost to mirrors. There were 3 Hancocks in top 8, and there were 2 in the finals, and there was a mirror in the top 4, so one of them lost in the mirror, and then another one, as we just saw, lost in the mirror. So from top 8 onward, there were only mirror kills in Hancock, so I guess that proves that Hancock is the best leader. We'll see how the meta ends up developing. Obviously, there are good decks on the day, and today it happened to be Hancock. Anyways, I probably need to wrap up soon because I need to go to dinner. I appreciate all of you guys showing up for this stream. Maybe next time I'll stream a little bit longer. I was planning to this time, but I took some time making the thumbnail and like finding people to stream with. It took a little bit of time, but I appreciate you guys showing up today. Maybe I'll do some more variety streaming next time. But I hope you guys enjoyed some of the commentary. I know sometimes I mess things up. I'm not official in any capacity. There is the official stream link below. I appreciate you guys, as always, for watching my videos and whatnot. I do have another video coming out tonight, unless something happens, which would be in about 6 hours from now. So if that comes out, make sure to check that out if you haven't already. Subscribing makes me feel a little bit better about myself, and, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.